everybody. And thank you, Patty, for being the first person to join Life and Vibe, the Good Life community today. And hi, everybody. Fortunately, because I'm getting off so early today, did not have time to get ready to look as presentable as Foodie Beauty always does when she's going live. So I'm just going to be a little emoji. But I thought today, the plan today, and I thank all of you for joining me. Make sure you hit the likes. And this kind of is a topic. This is a term that I found. It's kind of a pop psychology term, hypermegagifting. Now, if anybody wants to be hypermegagifting this Christmas to this channel, we're not going to complain. But there is definitely a lot of this going on. And I think it is an important topic because it not only covers Chantel and her community, but I think it also covers French Fried Girl and her community also. So I think there's a lot of reasons why these particular creators may attract a community that loves to give and give willingly, even though everybody else around them is screaming, you are being scammed. And the more people try to highlight and the more people try to say, hey, you could be getting scammed over here, they don't seem to care. So let's look at this topic real quick. Let me say hi to everyone. Hey, Lori. Yeah, I do. It's not the Wi-Fi. It's the streaming service. And unfortunately, I think this is a very expensive one. It's got a Black Friday sale, obviously, at the moment. But you would have to pay for the entire year. It's $200 some. And having just spent $550 on my dog's teeth to be fixed or clean, because Roscoe's got some real issues. And I don't want to be like Foodie Beauty and trying to talk about, stuff like that, about my pets, because she willingly gets her pets and I willingly got Roscoe as a companion to Junebug. But I understood when I took him, I took on a dog that was in very bad condition. And it seems like the right side of his body had, on the face and the front limb, had suffered some type of trauma. What type of trauma, I'm not sure. But the whole entire right side of his teeth are like broken, but they're like super embedded in his jaw. And then his right leg has been broken too. And then it's kind of healed. But wasn't obviously healed with any like proper medical care, I don't think. So he's had some stuff going on. So he's probably going to have to go see a specialty dentist. And it stresses me out because I love doing YouTube, but I worked out between trying to pay for the attorneys with Tim this year, because that cost me a lot of money trying to protect my channel from these crazy creators, because YouTube, ever since it introduced this thing that says, hey, somebody could be taking your material as a copyright, these, guys have gone nuts. So it's just YouTube and its AI system too. So that was something else I wanted to talk about, was the fact that YouTube has taken away, literally deplatformed over 20 million channels this quarter since October. And that's extremely unusual for YouTube to deplatform 20 million channels. And that's not just demonetizing, that's deplatforming. So YouTube, and a lot of these channels are actually like people who are genuine animators and people that have spent decades, putting content. So it's been pretty wild. Hey, come on in, Mr. Ranger Lab. Yeah. So, Merry Christmas. Hey, I'm so glad to be here, everybody. Thank you for joining this morning. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Brianna. Yeah, we're starting early. I actually rather, if I can, I may not be able to be on camera so early because sometimes I'm just slouching around in the sweatpants like I am at the moment. But I've got a lot to do today. So I'm like, you know what, let me just get this one out of the way, because I think they've got the Christmas photos. Yeah, poor Roscoe. Yeah, if you ever want to help with his dental care, because he's going to need a lot. I rescue the most unwanted dogs from the pound generally. I've got 2 of them over here. I usually take the ones that have been the longest in the shelter, and they usually don't have a lot of problems. It's usually because they've got either they're very shy or like Roscoe, they just looked beat up as heck. He looked really bad. Anyway, we're not here for Roscoe. We're here for Foodie Beauty and all of these other different people here. So yeah, and thank you. It is. And you all liking and helping and supporting. Though at the moment, I have to say my YouTube channel actually costs me money. I do not make money from my channel. Unlike Chantel, I would not be living in the lap of luxury with my YouTube channel, nor trying to, create a community that is kind of the level of toxicity that Chantel has. And they seem like, and they genuinely care about her, but that's what we need to talk about, this hyper mega gifting, because this person raises thousands of dollars. If we went over we can't call it a scam. Chantel just has to come up with some idea to give money, to give her some credence, probably on YouTube, so she's not just completely dry begging. Because the people that give to her know perfectly well the money is never going to go to the cause that she says it is. Oh my goodness. Oh, Patty. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, well, you know what? That $10 may be going for their Santa photos today. I'm trying to figure out if I need to call the place where we get our pet food. We need to swing by there anyway. But usually I have to be in the photo, so I need to look half decent because my dogs do not sit without me, which is a pain. Especially Junebug. Roscoe may. Junebug wouldn't. So anyway, we need to go get these because one of my goals is to get some cards made and then to give them away and send them to anybody in the community. I'm just going to be doing like a giveaway, random giveaways. And I will be randomly, I think I did this last year, and I'm going to get a few more cards this year because they were very popular. So I'm going to have a lot more made. And throughout, we're going to be trying to give these cards. I'm going to try to get this done. And that will be something fun because it's something I love to do. So, yeah. Yeah, facing unemployment. Facing unemployment. You are? Are you facing unemployment? Oh, Brianna, I'm so sorry. I hope that's not. I hope. If that's you, I am so sorry to hear that because it's so. And there's this whole conversation about these girls and whether they're going to get employed. That's a whole nother topic. We'll go on to that another time because that's a whole nother topic about saving money and so forth. And then people trying to figure out why Foodie Beauty opened up a Twitch account because Zachary Michael had a video the other day that told Quirky Loves Rosie that Patreon is not a good choice for her. A much better choice for her would be to do Twitch because it has an ability to do, it's not quite the same platform as YouTube, I guess but it does have some vague similarities in the fact that you can get it doesn't have to be gaming. You can have other type of content and then have a little community over there. And so I guess we know that Foodie Beauty, pops in as Sarah Lee all the time. And she obviously watches Zach. We know that her full-time job is, live streaming on YouTube, followed by, she's just not even begging. She just needs to tell her community, hey, give me 10 grand for a luxury apartment. And they'll be like, hey, sign me up. How can I send you money? She's never, because that night she literally told her followers, I need to go out and get sushi and I don't have money, sitting in that lovely apartment, and somebody sent her $40 to go out and get sushi. And she's not going to care whether she saves $20 for something else because if she needs another $40 from sushi, one of her hyper mega gifting Beezers will give her money. And I don't think that we as a community should even worry about it. I don't think we should worry about it. If these people want to give to FFG, if they want to give the Foodie Beauty, the more that people, and obviously reactors are going to react to it. Why? It causes, drama. People love drama. People are going to watch for the drama rather than just admitting to the fact that these people love to give to her. And they're going to give all day. As long as it's not children stealing credit cards from parents, let them do whatever they want with their money. I don't care. So I'm not the one giving her money. Well, I guess I do when I watch. Well, no, we're going to watch her through Looney Tubes today. So we're not even going to be giving Chantel money because I have premium. So if I watch her, I'm obviously giving her money. But yeah, she can do it. Anyway, you like mine? channel, especially on Super Sarasota Tim. Well, don't worry. Tim almost took down Florida with a tent yesterday. So we're going to be, oh yeah, Tim is awesome. Well, thank you for enjoying my channel. Yeah, the pups are asleep on the couch. We've been out. I just, like I said, I look sloppy. They look great. Yeah, and if you can hit the likes coming in, I certainly do appreciate that. Let's others know that we're going live while everyone gets ready to go out and do whatever they're doing to get ready for the holidays this morning. It's holiday time. Some of you might be just listening to me, get the kitchen clean, enjoying a cup of coffee. And we're going to talk about hypermegagifting, which I think is a really good topic to talk about during the holiday season. Patty says, I realize the Beezers will send her dollar. Crazy. She straight up lies always. Facebook, Foodie Beauty should have said nothing. Shaking my head. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We've seen her, misuse funds that were meant for a cat. We've seen her misuse funds that were, there was other large creators who called her out for having asked for donations for a child with disabilities and no receipts created or produced in order to show. I'm going to be showing this month my receipts on my members only from my attorneys and how much money I spent. And I have to redact some of their personal details before I just show it. But I'm going to show how much I spent on those attorneys. And it was a lot of money. I just didn't want it to get, Tim happy that I had to spend so much. And I had a lot of donations too. So basically anything that I was donated and given has gone to this channel in some way or another. And so that's one of the things about reactors. We end up spending money on our end. Hey, good morning. Come on in. Hey, come on in. We're just getting started. All right, let's get this started because I got a bunch of stuff to do today. And you know me, I could be chatty Kathy. All right, let's share this screen first. Am I going to have to start? Oh, I have to get rid of this. Hold on. I got to get rid of my video file. Oh, okay. Now I can share my screen. See, I've got limited things I can do here. That was my jingle music that I was sharing. Hold on. Let me not share this yet because I need to get on the right page. Hold on. I'm going to end up sharing my creator studio, which is not really what I want to share. All right. Let me get over to this loony. Actually, I'm just wanting to share this. I don't know why I'm worried about that. Hold on. Oh, my goodness. Wake up, Ray. This is what I wanted to share. This poll about this hyper mega gifting. So we can get an overview. You know how I like to roll. An overview of what, oh, that's not what I want. That's to do with Tim. Do you want some cheese to go with all this wine? Because Tim's been really complaining. And that's a thank you for the people who gave me the Christmas music. So thank you guys. All right. Why can't I see this one? Why am I not? Oh, there we go. Yay. Okay, finally. All right. Haven't used StreamYard for a while. And they've probably changed some stuff. Okay, so I kind of got the AI overview because they kind of took an idea. I kind of thought like, what would you, there has to be some type of explanation for somebody who just willingly gives to people and then doesn't, and no matter how many times it is shown to be that's not where the money is going, they still happen. I mean, she's got people who've been giving it to her for years. And everyone's like, oh, they're going to be so upset. Hey, Dr. Falcon, they're going to be so angry, these Beezers. Oh, they're in there asking her still if they're going to, take them out to see her, hiking the wilds of Canada or whatever. They don't care. So this is obviously more like a pop psychology. And I just do want to preface that even though I am a medical professional, I do work as a registered nurse. I have trained in the area of psychiatric, mental health, and studying in advanced levels in nursing practice for psychiatric patients. And even though I work with pediatric patients, which sometimes seems to sort of overlap between Chantel's mentality and the mentality of the age groups of patients I may potentially have, in my opinion. These are for educational, informational purposes only, and these are my opinions and my opinions only during this time. And I do not try to diagnose anybody during these live streams. I just wanted to preface that. Okay. You don't keep why they give. Well, we're going to go over why this might be happening, and this idea of hypermegagifting. And so obviously, and in the environment that you think in social media, there's also going to be potentially, and this could be a very interesting idea, and I don't think there's just been enough research. You'd have to get surveys out to these people. I would love for them to take part in a psychiatric study. Hey, Beezers, could you come over? I'd love to produce a survey to find out like past trauma. I would like to find out kind of, do you get like when people are shopping, you know, is it like a dopamine hit when you give money to Foodie? I would love to know a little bit deeper about the reasons for the giving. And to French Fried Girl too, because they both are Beezer communities. And even though both women have been shown to be absolute scam artists, in my opinion, and have used potential and primarily animals. And I know I have pets too, and it makes me seem more human having pets. But you know, I feel that the use of their animals is a little bit potentially different, and I don't want to put myself on a higher area, but anyway, because I do try to be fair. But anyway, yeah, Roscoe rocks. You can always donate. Oh my gosh, I've got a good one for you, Dr. Fowler. It's chilly this morning. It is. I did have to put the puppies in their little puffer jackets this morning. Oh my god, they look so cute. Roscoe's already managed to rip his. He got into something. Okay, so let's take a little bit of a look about this. Look at this: cognitive impairment and susceptibility to scams. A key point in scam compliance and warning, the odd narcissism. Now, this is where I think hits closer to all Beezers, whether it's Chantel's Foodie Beauty's Beezers, in my opinion, or whether it's French Fried Girl's Beezers, is that the odd narcissism of extreme givers. And you have to think that when obviously you give on a YouTube platform, you could have your name highlighted, or maybe they get this opportunity to have this sort of parasocial relationship with Chantel behind the scenes, you know, because they're giving privately, you know, and they get to hear from her. And so there's a lot, I think, ingrained. And so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can keep saying, oh my God, these people are getting scammed. What the heck? Because most, you know, normal people be like, hold on a minute. She said this is going over here and it went over there. No, I don't think I want to give anymore. Whereas this particularly, and you know, social media can get enough people together that they can scare up $10,000 just like that to cover her bills. $10,000. I haven't even made $10,000 for my YouTube channel this year. And if I have, it went to an attorney. So, I mean, it's so fascinating. They know she also makes considerable amounts of money from the channel. Still doesn't matter. And I don't even think that they're living in a circumstance, a less luxurious apartment than Chantel would still not stop them from giving. Look at the situation of Kalari, and she's talked about this and her giving and her not regretting giving. But she gave over $1,000 to French Fried Girl, and when she was struggling herself for money. Why would you give somebody over $1,000? She would be a very interesting person to interview. I would love to set up an actual, like, real sort of study to kind of figure out sort of, you know, really what, because there's a lot that has to be embedded in this. And so there's something that these people are getting from the giving that's, you know, past, you know, and obviously giving it to some of this contrarian, unpopular individual and promoting and keeping in good financial means and kind of saying, look, everybody else, we can't stand you. And to show how much we are contrarians and dislike you people over here, we're going to give to this person over there because we know you hate that person. So there's some of that potentially, some real toxic giving as well going on. So there's a whole mix of stuff going, and Foodie Beauty just happens to be benefiting from it. There are many of them. French Fried Girl benefited from it for years. If you didn't think that some of these people give, just because she found a group of people who want to cuss and swear and say really despicable things that probably wouldn't be allowed on other people's platforms, certainly wouldn't be allowed on my platform, to be able to say about somebody, and pay to do it. Because they don't know Chantel personally. And having found out that French Fries Girl's a scammer, and then they're still giving it to it, means that they don't have any morality in the situation. So just because these people are giving money, money doesn't always equate to good. Even though it makes life easier, doesn't always, for everybody, and be able to expand the possibilities of what you are able to do. It is a human construct, and it brings a lot of, contention into girl world, all of this stuff around money. Channel demonetized. It's just, it's incredible. You make a donation to a creator and gives the name of the creator. However, out of respect, I refer to them by the YouTube handle. Oh, well, Patty, you have been very kind, and of course, that's why we're here. We, all of us, it's great to have a hobby. But obviously when you're giving to people or giving to a channel and you really like a creator, the creator really does appreciate the support. I love the support. I'm like always flattered and happy to receive it. And anybody is. But when you know that you are, as in the case of French Fried Girl and Chantel and ALR and many, literally creating full-blown scams or trying to say that your situation is worse than it truly is, like Foodie saying she's living in basically a hovel when she's living in a brand new luxury style apartment, which is probably 1,000 times better. And no disrespect to the home in Syria, but to the conditions that she had in Syria. Let's be honest. Because one, she's not surrounded by a bunch of missiles going off by her head. And there's no way to glamorize that. I've lived in countries where there has been conflict. And she's just obviously extremely naive, or she just puts it on for an act. Or a mix of the two. Anyway, so these people, so this is obviously came from the AI, from Google, but this odd narcissism of extreme givers, this would be, it's a way of narcissistic distribution. So I think that Foodie is a narcissist, and the people in her chat, Teardrop, who's like, people know who she is, she doesn't have to technically have a channel, but she kind of has this like, parasitic relationship where she also gets this kind of narcissism, like she gets something from being one of the people, the mods, the giver, so you have to feel like almost a side character in the world of Foodie Beauty. And they've obviously probably had some past trauma. Okay, it's not a formally recognized psychological term, but rather a descriptor of behavior that may stem from various psychological vulnerabilities and manipulation tactics used by scammers. This behavior often involves a combination of emotional susceptibility, certain personality traits, and specific cognitive biases. French Fried Girl hasn't even showed up. We'll go back over that one again since she started her giving on Monday, because she's not motivated. The motivation for her, really, see, she was getting so much money. She probably still has a lot. She probably wasn't as flamboyant with her spending, maybe, as some of the other girls. I mean, the stuff that ALR, it's hard to feel sympathy when you just see the level of crap that woman bought. And she's a woman, a grown woman, with all that choosy stuff. That's a pathology in there. There's some deep stuff going on there. Deep stuff. That's deep, man. That's not a game. That's a deep cry for help, in my opinion. These people, I mean, that's why people watch them, because they're all a hot mess express going on, None of them really should be advertising their lifestyles on these platforms, because they're not healthy. But you know what? You're going to get these Hypermegagifting givers, the Beezers, who are just the most toxic group of followers on either side. French fry girls, Beezers, as she likes to call them too. They're just as toxic. They've been rolling around every creator's platform. That girl Karen came into my chat and went over into Yaba's chat too, trying to defend somebody. He's an absolute piece of, in my opinion, I won't say, I don't need to say, but she really did but her audience don't care. They've already told her, come back. We just want to say that Chantel's a terrible person. You're a terrible person too, but the only person we want to talk about being terrible is Chantel. We just want to scream and rage about that. And there's no convincing me that she took better care of that cat. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. All right. So let's see some of the reason why these Beezers, and I'm talking about any of these toxic giving communities when that the person is just absolutely hell bent on never changing who they are, isn't it? Chantel, she gets rewarded all the time. Why would she want to change? They've been rewarding her for years lying on the couch. Just gave her $10,000 to move country. I mean, just constant. They're all for it. It's wild. I wouldn't even get that support from my mother. Promise you, growing up in the tough boomer Gen X world that I grew up in, my parents didn't give us crud. We had to be pulling it up by the bootstraps by the time we were 5 and looking for a part-time job and contributing to the household. Were rough times in those days. These girls are of younger generations. They don't know how good they have it. But I don't know. All right. So some of these people actually might have emotional vulnerability. So a lot of these people, they've developed this parasocial relationship with Chantel. And because they are people that experience extreme loneliness, stress, or seeking emotional intimacy, are often more susceptible to manipulation by scammers or those who exploit these needs, or by scammers who exploit these needs. So Chantel is definitely on the emotional side at all times, pulling on these Beezers' heartstrings and, needing them so much. So these people who probably feel quite lonely, they can come to her, the rescue. They can rescue her at all times. Yeah, them all liars. Yeah, them all liars. They don't care. Yeah, none of them. That's why, but the other creators are going to be talking about, how awful she is to the Beezers. How many times could the Beezers put up with it? As many times as she's going to give it to them. They don't care. These people literally don't care. Now, the ones who fly in and out and find her channel and think they're come in and then they've suddenly realized what's going on, yeah, they'll probably light out, probably find a community of reaction channels or whichever reactor they like and feel like they vibe with, and then they'll, chill out with them. Once they realize the person's absolutely not telling the truth. Otherwise, I mean, it's a lot of these reaction channels talk about it to cause drama because and also because they should be grateful though, because it keeps the fun going. Without these Beezers being so generous with their money, probably because they're so traumatized from their childhoods or something, in my opinion, we wouldn't have as much fun on Girl Will, because they would, that they wouldn't have a luxury apartment to be talking about, and how Chantel fooled the Beezers again. They're not fooled. They know exactly what they're doing. Nobody getting fooled around here. I'm surprised FFG even said she may not have ever told her chat. Oh, I'm not surprised. These people have no morals. Let's be real reasonable human beings over here. These people got no morals. They don't care. And reaction channels, they don't want their bread and butter to go away either. The more drama we get, the more fun it is for people who make reaction, more stuff we got to talk about, more things that we find interesting to learn about. It says all that money they could have made a difference. Yeah, they gave to charity. Well, they think Sharon Chantel's a charity. Well, no, but the charity isn't going to highlight their name and make them feel special and talk to them in the chat and give them the warm and fuzzies, So they don't care about that. There's no logic or rationality to these people. There's nothing to them that's rational. I mean, anyone trying to make rational sense of these individuals is going to be beating their head against a wall. Well, I'm glad you find this to be a very interesting topic. I do too, Mr. Ranger Lab, because I feel that I'm looking at this in a completely different way that's never been looked at it before, because everyone else is going to be like, oh, Chantel came out here. She lied to her community again. I don't know how many times the Beezers are going to be wanting to send her money all the time. They don't care. They know who she is intrinsically. In fact, the more times that the reaction channels know what they're doing, the more times they go out there and tell the audience that, the Beezers got scammed again, the more the Beezers are going to give money. Chantel really wins from this. She's the last girl standing in girl world, because AI is running around just getting rid of channels. And somehow Chantel is able to get the AI to be on her side. Only Chantel could convince AI to keep her channel going. I gave a tramp 10 quid the other day and he walked straight to the bargain booth. Yep, that's where they're going to spend it. Not all, though. Not all. But if you gave it to Chantel, she'd go straight over to the head shop, and they don't even care if she's getting high on their money. They don't care. They're literally paying for her addictions. That whole group of people is paying for her addictions. That's basically what they are, and they don't even care. With Foodie, it's fascinating because she is finding new Beezers on a regular basis. The Beezers from New Zealand long over there. Yeah, there's always going to be new, because they probably ran out of money, or they got emotionally spent in the end, or whatever. Maybe their life happened for whatever reason. Like Kalari gave FFG over $1,000. She's not doing it now. And she admits that she gave that. She didn't have $1,000 to give. Can you imagine giving a creator $1,000? But it got her name up there and highlighted her and gave her the, whatever the buzzies. I think on most issues, there's a spread of actions that people do with the percentage of who does what changes. Some will get, if it seems like a fraud, others will get, some will regret it. Some will regret it, because if you see other people giving in the chat, maybe you're going to feel more inspired to do the same. Make sure, if you all give me a like, hopefully you'll give me a like. I was starting a poll, and then I think my poll got killed. Yeah, I know, because I can't connect to StreamYard like I did, so I can't get to Nightbot the same way. It'll come up here anyway. It's got all sorts of stuff going on. All right, let's get back over to this so we can look at this video real quick. So trusting nature. This might be for the new ones coming in. A general inclination to believe others, especially when presented with seemingly credible information or an appealing persona, can lead to increased vulnerability. Chantel, on occasion, can seem quite personable. Cognitive biases. That means, biases in their mental thinking. Sunk cost effect. Now, this could be a big one. The victim feels they have already invested so much time or emotion. Remember this with the Beezers and the communities, even with French Fried Girl, how sad they are, how they can't wait for her to come back. Think about it. Think about the money that they've invested to this person and how this person's kind of become part of their living room at night, or however you want to look at it. So you have to think about that part. And it's difficult to walk away. We've seen that with both of these communities, especially with French Fried Girls coming into everybody else's chat. They really are having a hard time walking away from what was apparently a scam. She gave 1 day of a live stream to raise money for the ASPCA, and that's been it. She's not come back. That to me is, if they, but they don't, because they're this. This is who they are. This is who these people attract. So like attracts like. Doesn't mean because these people are giving. I'm not saying that all people who ever gave these people money or bad people. I'm just saying the ones that consistently give despite evidence of how they use the money are still going to continue to give no matter what, until for some whatever outside circumstance probably stops them from being able to give any longer, or they wake up, which is going to take deep therapy. All right, which probably like Kalari. Kalari kind of woke up from it when the community kind of turned on her. I think that was a moment that she got to get some mental clarity and to step away from everything and step away from social media. Maybe FFG is getting the therapy that she needs, though I doubt it. She's too much of a narcissist. The victim feels and there's not much you can do with them. The victim feels they've already invested so much. We talked about that, giving in the hope of recovering their initial investment or maintaining the relationship. And I think that's the most important thing, is the maintenance of the relationships with Chantel. They don't want to lose that special relationship they have with the star of Girl World, Foodie Beauty. Foodie lives in Canada. I've heard people wondering if her being in Canada keeps her channel on since she's in a different country. I mentioned that the other day. That's maybe because I also mentioned that the other day when I went and spoke about her being the last girl standing in Girl World, or Girl World ending. And one of my thoughts was that maybe because the AI bots, because these are AI bots that are going around, Google is no longer being, or YouTube is no longer having human reviews and human sort of viewing and monitoring the content. There are so many channels, like I said, since October of this year, and we're not even finished with this quarter. This has been the quarter with the most number of channels that have been completely eliminated and deplatformed, and it's been over 20 million. That just think about 20, just think how many. It's why I'm so grateful that you found my channel, because we still have millions of channels on this platform. And so they have now set everything to go to AI. And the AI is been set. One, I believe, is that Ahenya Cooney. And the AI is going around and taking stuff down. I don't think it's to do with mass reporting. I think it's to do more with these AI bots who are just cleaning up, and maybe potentially because they have something in the algorithm that says focus US-based channels because the lawsuits are happening here. So those are the ones they really have to focus on, which is why Hungry Fat Chick is gone. Why this is the point I brought up. I always be interested to know if I brought up these points first, because nobody ever wants to admit they watch me. I do get some views, but yeah, I wonder, because it's an AI bot. That's why they're giving back responses. So somehow Foodie got her pizza video back up. I don't know if they saw there that she was in Canada and didn't care, because maybe the advertisers are different in Canada than they are in the United States. And I'm surprised that nothing's been done in Canada. But Canada might have worries about, discriminating against people in weight or something else. So there might be other things. But Google tends to try to follow the laws of those countries. And if the United States is starting to get lawsuits and starting to get a lot of legal action, then obviously Google's going to focus on the channels here in the US. And so maybe that's been my thought as to why she's not been, as of yet, demonetized, because she's not going to be brought into a lawsuit potentially. That's just my thoughts. Okay, so this definitely, I think that sunk cost effect definitely exists for some of these pieces. Commitment and consistency. Once committed to a course of action, e.g., helping someone in need, and they think Foodie's in need, no matter how many times you try to say, hey, look, this lady making more a month than you are off of YouTube. Like, she's making 20 grand. They don't care. They don't care. They are hyper mega gifters. Okay. They love it. They just love it. We shouldn't worry about it for them. Shouldn't worry about it for them. Now, we should always tell, oh, Foodie scammed again, just because then the newer people can be alerted and be like, but they're probably going to figure it out anyway. But the older ones, let them go. It says people tend to stick with it, making it easier for scammers to gradually escalate their demands. And think throughout the year, how much has Foodie escalated the demand of money from her followers? And French Fry Girl escalated her demand that they would absolve her having done wrong with BBJ by them raising money for the ASPCA, because she never said that she was going to match those monies at all. So she didn't say if, up to a certain limit. So she could have said, I will match, because she's made a lot of money. She should have come out with 10,000 Canadian. Just, it wouldn't even made a dent in what she probably made in the month of November. That will be paid to her on the 21st of December. Even though she cut out a little bit early at the end of November, she's still bringing a lot of money in. Don't you worry. Frenchie is going to have a wonderful Christmas. She's going to have a better Christmas than a lot of people who have potentially lost their jobs here in the US and Canada and other parts of the world. Because I know that a lot of us, around the globe have been affected by this economy that's happening, not just here in the United States. It's not US exclusive or Canadian exclusive. And she's, sitting in a $2,000 apartment. How's French fried girl going? They can say that how she scammed her Beezers again. How can you talk about scamming somebody with a straight face after what you did for over 2 years about a dead cat? You're going to have some cojones to come out and say that. Apologies for sparing for those who are my Spanish followers, but I can't say it in English. I'll get in trouble. Okay, personality traits. Okay. Well, not a formal diagnosis. Remember, I do not treat or diagnose anybody on this channel, okay? Including the Beezers of either French Fried Girl or Foodie Beauty, because I don't see either of these two groups differently at this time. Some research links high scam susceptibility to certain psychological traits or even early signs of cognitive impairment, particularly in older adults. Well, we know that our older adults can be more susceptible to scams. That's a whole different topic. I don't think foodies, that's not the majority of these people's audiences. Some generous individuals may also have a form of compulsive giving driven by a need for validation or control. So how much control do these Beezers get? Also by giving to these creators, which can be exploited. I mean, we've seen FFG try to exploit people. Well, I mean, I don't think anybody has tried to ask for a return of monies from her. Certainly, everybody's been warned and advised never to email this person. She is known to be reactive, in my opinion, and has known to dox people, which has been proven. So, best not, unless you want to get into something ugly. She would probably take it to an attorney. I just wouldn't go near that person. But that's up to other people. All right. So, desire for connection. This is definitely on these parasocial types of relationships, especially with the ones that we have with folks like Foodie Beauty, and all her Beezers and FFG and her crazy Beezers. I mean that term loosely. Wild, I should say. Use that word like that. Sorry, I still come from the Gen X generation. Her wild Beezers dashing around like Karen, who came with Karen. You can't even know if that's really her name because she was acting like an absolute Karen, demanding to see the managers of everybody's chat to tell them that FFG is a good person. Yeah, okay, Karen. Keep it going, girl. Nobody believes you. Okay. And she was working overtime on that one. The victim's strong desire for a relationship and connection can override their judgment, causing them to ignore red flags and continue giving money to their partner. Foodie Beauty and whatever she got, this is not about her and Salah. That's literally like those Beezers are the ones being romanced by Foodie in some way. All right, so what does she do? What are the tactics that Foodie is using herself? And then we are going to actually get in there and look at her video. We're going to watch it from, like I said, the Looney Tubes because it's shortened down. It's nice and quick. We won't, have to, watch a bunch of unnecessary fluff in her content. And I can give my premium to Looney Tubes. And I left a description in my box to make sure that you could find it and give this channel a view for archiving this for us. So what are some of the things that, and we've seen Foodie do all this stuff, okay? Come on, we've seen every one of these, okay? And so, like I said, don't treat or diagnose, but I definitely think this is what we should know. After all these years, why is anybody worried about these people getting scammed? it does seem that people are jealous that she can milk so much money out of her audience. But do you want to be that person ethically? That's the question, isn't it? Do you, French fried girl, do you, Chantel, enjoy? They don't have any morals. You never got into watching her. The one time I watched her and she was so awful to the person who was just wanting a little bit of comfort, unfortunately, from the group of toxic, rabid followers over there, that the toxic givers, that she got really nasty about it. And it just showed me a level of who she truly was, and how this entire time that she was going live, even though she's cussing Chantel out, the reality is it's all about her being the better person at the end of the day, that she is somewhat better than Chantel for whatever reason, because she's got all these people giving her money and agreeing with her that Chantel's a POS. But the thing is, they all are being POSs over there. I'm sorry, that whole community is extremely toxic. I don't care. It's 34,000 people who like to say nasty things about people. I mean, not a group of people I would ever want to associate myself with. They can come in here and give me all the engagement they want. I really am up for the battle. I might have a tiny community and may not want to cuss about everybody in an ugly way, but I will call out the scammers on this platform. And her audience is obviously assisting with the scam. They're all complicit in it. It's a game. Oh, absolutely. Good reference. Yeah, I would agree. It's like, it's not like a gang mentality. It is a gang mentality, because they come over to other people's channels and try to exert their thoughts onto other communities and tell people to stop talking about FFG. Oh no, we're not going to stop talking about her. She's just as wild as Foodie. And the reason why is because both of their communities are extremely narcissistic. And it's like a group of just narcissists and people with probably deep trauma who've all found each other. Suzanne says, I enjoy watching you. I enjoy watching some of the reactors. Yeah, and I think that's everybody, because everybody's a different age group. Everybody has a different type of approach to how they see life. Everybody has an approach to how they react to their content. I try to be somewhat pragmatic. Don't really want to be a drama channel. But I've obviously, having years in the healthcare profession, you have to work with all different types of people. And I've had to work in a lot of different homes as well as a case manager, and having to deal with people at times when they were extremely and highly emotional, both within the family, patients, and you have to be quite stoic and calm and have a sense of reality also. And you need to be somebody that people can lean on. So I tend to be quite pragmatic. I've laughed every time that people talk about these Beezers being scammed, because they're willing participants, most of them. And most of them are getting something from it. And so they're laughing at, they think they're laughing at reaction channels are enjoying it, though, because in reality, they're getting views and they're making very good money. I promise you, in the six figures. So wouldn't stress. These people are making more than most of the people who are watching their channels, unless everyone just secretly a trust fund baby. It's impressive skill they have scamming people. They're not even scamming people at this point. They've been able to create these communities where they have a polarizing person that probably has personality traits that they can identify with. And so they are, this is just my opinion, able to identify with that, and within that be able to get some validation maybe for their own behaviors. And also getting some of these other things, these people that had trauma. There's a reason why these people are creating such strong emotional bonds with somebody that shows up on the internet who's literally doing nothing. But the more she gets like down in the mouth, I had one of hers who once had come into my community, and I finally figured out that she was a spy. Anyway, this person recently came and asked me to go and do a, please talk about Chantel's health, because they were so worried that she wasn't getting medical care. And I guess Chantel watches my medical stuff about her health. She probably does. She should. Not that I ever give her any health or medical advice. But obviously I do talk about her medical stuff. And I probably have more experience than a lot of reactors just because I work years in the industry and direct patient care. And with a lot of type 2 diabetics. So I just probably have a little bit more experience. I mean, they can all look it up on the Google and Google it to death, but Googling something and actually working with somebody and having to manage the glucometer and seeing somebody go into like either having a hyperglycemic event or a hypoglycemic event gets a different perspective than anything that you'll ever read in a textbook or on something online. So anyway, why do I think Foodie is so popular? Because she is like a lot of other people. A lot of other people are like Foodie. Hate to say it. And she's probably makes them feel better about themselves. They see someone as hot mess as Foodie, they're probably thinking, dang, when she comes out and she gets all emotional with these guys and cries and they get so worried and just emotionally invested into it, and she just attracts like Susanna. Yeah, I'm sure these people also struggle with eating addictions. This is my opinion only. Food addictions, my opinion only. Trauma, they're getting something from it, girl. They're getting something from it. Okay, so what does Foodie do? What is she doing to kind of, lure these people in? That's a good question. Why is she so popular? I'll tell you why. Reciprocity. Scammers may provide a small gift, like attention or a small favor, to trigger a sense of indebtedness, making the victim feel obliged to give back more significant amounts later. Foodie is very good at pulling on these people's emotional heartstrings. She really is. She does a great job. So this is part of the answering that question you just had, Susanna. Urgency and scarcity. Creating a sense of urgency or once-in-a-lifetime opportunity pressures victims to act quickly without critical thought. So once in a lifetime for Foodie would be more like having to get out of Syria to save herself, that sort of urgency. Foodie is definitely more of an urgency type person with her Beezers, creating urgency. Got to get here. Otherwise, she does a lot of that. And then they can get all involved with it. And then they can save her, That's always good. Emotional appeals. Scammers use compelling sob stories. The queen of the medical emergencies. She doesn't like to lose her legal troubles, but I promise you, she's got a few of those. I'm surprised she hasn't asked them to pay off her 30,000 Canadian. They probably would. I'd just go ahead and ask them, Chantel. You've got the most gullible group of Beezers out there, girl. These people, they don't care. They would be living on a piece of cardboard on a street and give it to you, queen. These women don't care, guys, whoever they are. They would literally threaten to take their mothers out to use a credit card like anime and, use up a grown man living with his mother. This is the sort of just the absolute creme de la creme of, human population that Chantel's got sitting in her chat. I'm sure French Fried Girl's chat is similarly sprinkled with just the best of society. These people are off to the country club and dining on the finest. Anyway, emotional appeals. Scammers using compelling sob stories, medical emergencies to elicit empathy and desire to help. And these people love to help her because she's always getting into some type of medical emergency. I mean, now she's in Canada and actually has, access to get actual health care. How can she scam out on the, need to get the medicines, or I got to run to the doctor like she had to in Kuwait all the time? Where's the sob story in that? What? You got universal health care? How is she? Most of her audience is probably sitting in the United States. How can you in the United States, where we have absolutely shit to no health care, okay? Yeah, there are hospitals here, okay? But you're going to have to, might as well mortgage the house and go visit that place, even with health insurance. It's ridiculous how much they make you go out of pocket, even after you've paid a bunch of money up front. It's you, and Foodie had sat there and had a couple of months where she got to feel as unable to access healthcare as many Americans do. And these people probably don't even have access to healthcare, and her chat will send her $20. That's just, and don't feel bad for them. Please do not feel bad for these people. They do it willingly. They have no problem. Don't feel bad for them. I wouldn't. I have no feel bads for any of her Beezers whatsoever. None whatsoever. I laugh when other people on other channels are saying, oh, she scammed him again. Oh, poor Beezers. They're never going to give again. No, they'll give double next time. Absolutely. They can't even access, affordable medications, but they'll send Queenie $40 for some sushi, or they'll threaten to beat up their mother and, steal her credit cards. Because what's happened to Anime? Probably sitting in jail. We don't really know his real name. But from what I understand, he was a pretty nasty piece of work, allegedly, who took his mother's credit cards to send Foodie Beauty money. And then she had that young kid in her chat who was probably also taking his parents' credit cards. Because how else did he have access to send her money? Underage. So maybe his parents finally figured that out. That's why he's gone. Parents finally got control of that kid. Ridiculous. Because YouTube don't give a flying F. I tell you that much. YouTube's going to let all the shenanigans happen. The only reason why YouTube's cracking down at the moment, as I talked the other day, is that the cost of that lawsuit is going to be more than the revenue they'll take on advertising from the queens over here, from the girls. So anyway. All right, let's get over to this particular stream that was given to us, nicely packaged by the Looney Tubes. And like I said, I'll pop that down in the history. You can go take a look at that. It's all about she lied about living in a low income, whatever. She don't matter. She got to create, some emotional stuff for her Beezers. That's what they live for. So for all these people who think she needs to be outside and doing stuff, and they're going to all get fed up if she came up with a good tale about how she's hooking up with some dude online or something, they'd be salivating and sending her money. They don't care. These people, they don't care. All right. We're going to share this tab instead. All right. Take it away, Foodie. Oh, let me make that big again, guys. It always does that. I want to get over. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Guys, her eyes are like this. Her eyes go this way, her pupils. I'm telling you. Hello, guys. Might as well. Feel like 2.0. I'm just making sure my coffee don't boil over. What does that noise mean? Hi, everybody. Now we can see. By the way, my cat likes to go in the toilet, so I discovered that today, so I have to keep the lid down. Her eyes go this way like Pennywise. We should name her Penny. Because you're taking me a of the ordinary.
Maybe the cat's trying to get the toilet water, Chantel, because you're not giving the cat enough water out. You've ever thought about that? You're going to ruin another cat's pair of kidneys? And she did. And the Beezers, I promise you, she's supposedly had this apartment without any, especially 2 months, first 2 months free of rent or whatever. So that's why she wants to get out within 2 months in the hopes that she doesn't have to pay. But there must be some type of caveat. I don't know. I don't rent. So I have no idea. I haven't rented an apartment since I traveled as an RN, and I was on a 6-month lease. So maybe it has to be a 3-month lease. But maybe she's worked out that the cost of getting out of the lease of 3 months, because they're going to want to recuperate. They're just not going to give people 2 months of living all the time. I mean, Chantel is always going to try to figure out how to get what she can for free and keep whatever money she gets sent by the gullible crew, the gullible geezers, whatever they are. They're not being scammed. They willingly give. They're hyper mega gifters. They have some type of weird narcissist. They're all narcissists hanging out together. Just, I don't think we should ever feel bad for these people. Ever feel bad. The fact that, and they don't care. They're not reporting her to YouTube that they got scammed out of money. They don't care. They don't care. She gets, it's amazing how the one thing you start to learn when you start to watch some things in life is how much you can get away with, and how most of us have worried about getting in trouble for stuff, where you just watch people just get away with stuff all the time. She went against her country's sanctions about going into Syria, and she was having money sitting there. She don't care. She'll probably never get in trouble for that either. It's just like Tim. Tim will never get in trouble for his $52,400 illegally taken EIDL money. And he'll turn around and he begs some more money off his subs. And then his same hyper gifting giving, contrarian misogynists that he's got over there will give him more money, because that's what his audience is. It's a bunch of old misogynists who love to give him money because they love to be contrarian, because they know he's an absolute scammer and they think it's funny to give him money. Just like this group of people. They think it's, they feel like watching other reaction channels get irate about her getting money. It makes them want to give her more. They don't care. Have at it. If they want to ruin their finances or do, they're grown-ups. Are they supporting something good? A good person? Absolutely not. Do they care? No. They're as bad as she is. Yeah. Oh, it's the same with French fried girls. Her Beezers are exactly the same. Exactly the same. We were talking about, just before you joined on, hypermegagifting and the sort of odd narcissism of these people who do it. So it's just narcissists. They love to give. They're contrarian type folks. It's just that, and their giving of money, they know they're irritating, genuinely good people who can't understand it. They're getting a thrill from it, guys. Every time anybody complains, they're getting a thrill. For reaction channels, we know it brings views and makes drama. And and kind of the other creators should be grateful, because it probably steps up the donations from the people who get thrills from donating money to really amoral, terrible people. Because the world is a messed up place. People love drama. People love to occasionally you get a really good stop story, and that person will get a lot of money suddenly. But these types of people be propped up by people forever. Oh, her Beezers, like I said, they found out she was living in this lovely luxury apartment and completely lied about it. So what did they do? Did you see the chat suddenly empty out and her go from, 200 views to 0? No, absolutely not. Probably upticked her views and someone sent her $40 to go reward herself with some sushi. These people are crazy. Keep going, Chantel. This isn't lying. They don't think she lies. They know what she is. They knew she was probably living in something nicer than that. Chantel not going to put herself in an asshole. She'll make it become an asshole, but she's not going to put herself in one.
Hi, guys. Trumps. Try not to look too excited to see us.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Bella Wolf.
Yeah. I said I live in a slum building.
Thank you, Bella Wolf, for clarifying. Yeah, whatever, Chantel. That's more to get the reactors going. They usually put in a clause that if you don't fulfill the lease term, it's either prorated or you have to repay in full. Okay, interesting. So it's probably worth her staying probably whatever amount of time, whatever they put contractually. Do you know whether they would make you say 3 months minimum? Because then the rent price of a 3-month lease would be different from saying, well, this was my experience when I was leasing, because I'd have to do short terms as a travel RN. Or you could do 3 months, 6 months or a year leases. So I'm wondering then which one she chose. I wonder. Wheelie Mom says, let's check up with the chat here. And if you guys can give me a like as you come in, and everyone can find us here, and my alternative thoughts on the Beezers and all Beezers. All, and not that I don't enjoy having money sent to me, because I absolutely do. It helps support the channel. It helps me pay for hopefully better streaming services, since I only get 20 hours a month of StreamYard with limited things I can do with it. And 20 hours isn't enough if I went streaming every day. So I guess if you went streaming every day, maybe you'd raise enough money. Who knows? YouTube has changed. AdSense has fallen recently. So I think the uptick in sympathy scams is going to be increasing. Wheelie Mum says, it's disturbing to hear a medical professional label entire group of people as narcissists. I watch and tell from a professional interest, but generalizations are harmful. Best wishes. Well, Wheelie Mum, if you just joined me, you did not see my interesting explanation about hypermegagifting and the fact that these people that are giving to her, I didn't say the people watching her, I said the people who give to these people on a regular basis probably are doing it because there's a sense of narcissism. How else can you give? And obviously, coming from a medical professional is probably the best person to come this from. And yes, how else do you think these communities are given? Well, I'm glad that you joined me. And unfortunately, when you have a group of people who are doing things on the regular, then yes, unfortunately, you will get a generalization. And so, yes, I do feel in this respect, since they have a history of doing this, trying to figure out why and the reasons, and obviously the connection to a known narcissist in them giving constantly and allowing this to happen, obviously is probably prevalent of a symbiotic narcissism. It's kind of like the flying monkeys, if you may. And I'm going to stand by my point. So have a good day. If she gets demonetized, she is in financial trouble. We don't think she's going to get demonetized. She lives in Canada. I don't think she's going to get swept up in the AI demonetization. It's not a human making these decisions. It's an AI bot. So we have to keep our human thoughts out of it too. If it wasn't for the girls scamming them, it would be someone else. Yeah, if somebody else they would have a parasocial relationship with. They are getting some sort of narcissistic thrill from it. If they are constantly giving, Teardrop is like a side character. Don't tell me that's not some type of odd narcissism going on there. Or people who would give extreme gifting all the time. You don't think that if when somebody is dropping a big donation in the chat, there isn't a certain amount of adulation. Kalari couldn't afford to send FFG really $1,000 in super chats over that period of time, but she did. Gotta think about it. She has a year lease. Okay. Sammy says, it's an entire community. Have you really watched them? FFG was born there. Thank you, Sammy. Yes. And I'm not, I know generalizations are harmful, but we also can, in medicine, we do sometimes have generalizations. And when you're looking at the DM5 with text revision, which is, the DSM5, sorry, with text revision, which is the diagnostic code, you can have mass things happen, And this audience has been consistently doing this for an extended period of time. And I've been watching them. I'd love to do a survey. If they want to take participation in a survey, I'd be interested to construct one and be able to get some real solid potential, evidence going. Thank you. Bella, you were in the real estate property management business. 1 month free on a 6 to 12 month lease was pretty standard. And in a landlord market, 2 months is rare unless something is unrentable. And these are luxury places, can be very expensive on the offset. So I know for many people they can be. Yes. All right. Well, really, we're not against you. Okay. I don't want to make you feel bad. Okay. But I am going to say what my point is. I'm glad that you felt comfortable to share your opinion here. I do want to make that known. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to respond, and and that's okay. If you feel that medical professionals should never make generalizations, I can make generalizations about heart disease too. Okay, about certain things. If you have a cholesterol of a certain amount, I can generalize about your risk for heart disease. It's not a bad thing. If you've not seen that, FFG's community, despite everything said, still gave money to try to absolve her guilt, not her. She didn't say she was going to ever match that money. If you don't think there's a certain, or them coming around other people, if you don't think there's a certain level of narcissism, then, then you don't understand like these parasocial relationships that sometimes happen in these communities. Sometimes these are just great forums like this for conversation and chat. Other times they can be real toxic hotbeds. And FSG's community, as much as Chantel's is not even as toxic sounding as FFG's community. That is toxic at the top of the tippy tree. And you get to pay to be that way. Wild. She did say her name is not on the lease. I want to know whose name is on the lease. That would be interesting. Probably somebody who has good credit, because it's not Chantel. So whatever she was working on in Sierra, it was persuading somebody with good credit to take on that lease. Hopefully it wasn't Pete's. I mean, it's amazing. Her family is never going to let her quite hit rock bottom. My family would be like, see ya. Standard free rent was given. Thank you, Bella Wolf. I really appreciate you sharing your expertise and knowledge on the renting side so we can understand that one. I would love to know too. Yeah. The funny thing is, she told the government that she wasn't going to stay long enough for the health insurance. Now I've heard that she's thinking that she wants to get her health insurance back. If she isn't able to stay for 6 months health insurance, how is she going to maintain a year lease? She probably, look, she has a whole group of Hypermegagifting individuals with potentially, an odd narcissism when they get to giving. Okay. And there is an article about that, really, Mom. And I can always lead you to that one about that odd, the narcissism around that, because it's everybody giving and they all get highlighted and they all get, thank you, Carly. Thank you. We all do it. I have mine too. And like I said, I'm not going to complain. Like I said, my channel actually loses me money. Sammy knows that. I told her. All right. The internet has made it easy for weird. Yes. They can all get together and then they can get, it's a whole thing. It's funny if it's Pete's though, because she said she didn't want him to move in for like a year either. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Natter. I doubt that. She's impulsive. Oh yeah. Absolutely. But they love that about her. We got to admit it. We got to admit it. Her Beezers love her, So half of the watches she gets is probably hate. So, the other people are helping to finance her unless they have ad blocker. But if they don't have ad blocker and they don't have YouTube Premium, then they aren't helping her. Then they're helping her financially. And the rest of them happily give. And goodness knows how much they send on the side. Like I said, she got $40 for sushi. I won't make $40 from this chat today, which is fine by me. But I'm just saying, she's sitting in this lovely looking place. And then she says she doesn't have money for sushi. Well, we know she absolutely does have that money. She will keep, I promise you, this woman has way more squirreled away than you believe. And she doesn't even want to give it to the Canadian government. She probably got money sitting in the Cayman Island. No, I'm just, she was smart, she would.
Willing to throw you guys off. Yeah, I guess you get to see the kitchen. Anyone messing with us, think of this little creature, okay? She needs a stable home.
Yep, there we go.
She walks on the stove. I don't like that. I might have to go because I'm expecting a phone call. The pros and cons of being a YouTuber, yeah.
Oh yeah, she's really got no cons at being a YouTuber. This has been the easiest way this woman will ever make money in her life. And she'll figure out, that's why she went on Twitch. Foodie's the smartest of them all, really. And she's not even that bright. But, well, Glitters and Lasers is probably the smartest of them all. Because she actually has some marketing background. She's not getting tied up in all this crazy. Quirky loves Racy. Bless her heart. She's trying. She's trying to figure it out. Amber Lynn Reed, she is far too much the victim to ever figure anything out, in my opinion. And Foodie, she's already moving some stuff over to Twitch, just in case. And if not, she'll just get more money over there. So, it's a win-win for Foodie at all times. I know people want her to sink down low. I know. But she just, I think the community is going to have to expect that potentially she doesn't. And how do you deal with that? Support reaction channels. That's the best way to go about it, I guess.
I want to do this giveaway for this sucker in this thing. You acted like you were poverty-stricken. No, I didn't. Way more modern than Syria. Yeah, I don't really care about that stuff, I guess, What did I lie about not having a dishwasher to throw people off so that I don't get doxxed? No, Tally, because before I left, I know I had the lid closed because my mom said, close the lid. Hey, Squeaky. Because she, just in case if you're gone. And I wasn't gone for 3 days.
Most of us wouldn't leave a kitten for any length of time, or we'd find somebody who could have been there with the kitten or something for the cat rather than just leaving food. Her mom just shut the toilet lid. Just tells you the mentality of the entire family and how they treat animals. It has to come from somewhere. Her mom is probably the person sitting on that lease. Again. Because she just talked about her mom. It's mom or the aunt. Somebody. One of those two. I don't think it's Pete's. I don't think Pete's is going to be that much. That's why she said he couldn't move in for a year. Because maybe he said she's even going to stay there. But, I'm sure that she had to sit there like a little girl and get scolded by her mom and promise to not just to run off on the lease again. And, she got another cat. Does the family seem like they're irritated with her all? No, she's off on the weekend with the aunt. Does the aunt have a problem that she's leaving this kitten alone? An unnamed kitten? No. None whatsoever. They don't care. The whole family seems to be, in my opinion, trash. I don't care what job they have or how nice the furniture looks. She's learned it from somewhere. It's in the family. Just be honest. I've studied a lot of pedagogy too. And I don't, And yes, sometimes you have to make sweeping generalizations. I'm sorry. If you got enough evidentiary things, it's just well, if you've got a blood pressure that's running 140 over 90 all the time, you're probably you're going to have heart failure. It's not an if, it's a when.
I was gone for not even a full 2. What's that noise? Do you hear that? Hey, sneakerhead. Well, I guess I don't really need a hot plate now, sneakerhead. Look at. So I'm gonna go to the gathering. I don't know. I'll cat sit next time you go away for longer. Really? This beautiful apartment, and you want people to. This beautiful apartment. Okay, actually, when I was looking for apartments, the ones that had 1-2-star reviews were close to this price, maybe a couple $100 off. So why would you know what I mean?
She's lying because her eyes are going all over the place. Chantel doesn't like to live in anything that's, she's not. I think part of it is that if it is so close to all of these different amenities, I think that was part of the consideration, that she should be able to just walk down and get stuff, or it's going to be very easy for her to get Uber Eats deliveries because she's so close to stuff. which would probably be her preference. She doesn't even, this is somebody who has been rewarded for years for sitting around doing a lot of nothing. Why is she going to suddenly tick up and do stuff? Why is she suddenly, she doesn't need to. Like I said, somebody sent her $40 for sushi on this live stream. Where is the, her mom probably the name on that lease?
Like pretty high up. I am afraid of elevators, but the elevators where I live are very, very, very big and very new. So, but did you read my comment? Tracy, yes. I remember now. Use Tracy. Also, times a lot. Loyalty Beezer. I would say F the haters and keep doing what I'm doing without being worried about anyone, and they can all sit and spin. Good luck, Chantal. Thank you. You're still a Beezer? Still a Beezer Rooney? Thank you, also, Tan. Rooney should. Thank you. Sit and spin. The apartments are in a great area. Thank you, Elsa.
Yeah, of course. And they probably actually enjoy seeing her living in such a lovely place. The tile color is very similar to my own, except I have my design different. I got more of that staggered tile. But the color of the tile is pretty similar to my own tile. So I have a smaller tile. But anyway. Yeah, I don't think they're upset. See, they're still Beezers. Hypermegagifting. They love it. A couple are going to be like, why weren't you honest? The majority are going to be pleased as punch. They love it. They love being duped by her. They absolutely enjoy it. They love it. It's like FFGs and all of her audience. They don't care. They rather, their loyalty to these people is more important than them getting scammed.
Thank you. No, I'm not mad at Tracy. Leave Tracy alone. Salah needs to visit. You guys would have fun. Yeah, Salah, everyone wants you to.
Can't be mad at Tracy. Tracy's one of her great hyper mega gifter givers. Why? You can't be mad at those. You are unable to be angry at any of her, top tier Beezers. So the other ones have got to calm down. They can't come in and criticize the queen. They'll cut that stuff out real quick. This audience is going to protect her against the reaction channel. And like I said, the more reaction channels, the more she got called out for scamming Sasa, the more money she got sent to relocate to well, then maybe they thought that they were really saving her for something in Syria. Who knows?
Come to Canada, yalla. Do you see that I'm still drinking Arabic coffee? Because honestly, the coffee here is really weak. If you care about them, you'll always care about them even apart. Yeah. What is this? I was going to take you guys out. I could walk to a store. I don't know. Oh, crazy frog collapse. I don't know. It's windy and almost minus 15 with wind chill. It's very bad. I have an appointment next week about the insurance. So I
can't lie. They know she lies to her. They probably look forward to when they finally get the lie revealed. They know she's a pathological liar. They don't care. See, everyone else cares about these poor people. That we care more about the Beezers than they care about themselves at the end of the day. They don't care.
Just got to try to stay alive for a week. DM me what kitchen gadgets you want. See? Well, what do you guys think?
See? She's sitting in that lovely kitchen and they're basically saying, hey, tell us what kitchen gadgets you need. Does this seem like a community that's upset with her at all? No. They're going to gift her more for a housewarming. I know it seems unreal. And I know it seems unimaginable. And I know that for so many of us who work hard every day, go to work and, come and do things and stuff, don't even have our families want to turn around and ask us what we would like to have in our home. We have families who are that either financial struggles or just maybe that kind of, strict with sharing money. I come from, or just don't have family like me. You could be someone like me who literally just does not have any further, that are close relatives that are living. You could be sort of, then find yourself in a situation like that, like myself. So I don't have somebody to bail me out were I to make a horrendous mistake. And because of that, it probably does mean that I do need to be much more thoughtful about decisions I make with money, decisions I make around my housing, decisions I make around pets I get, schooling I take on. I've, got to finish out my grad school as a nurse educator. And I feel very confident that I don't have any problem talking about mass hysteria type things or mass thinking, because I want to, or group think, because you can take a community and realize they're having group think, and you can then label that group. So that's nothing that a medical professional would not do, especially in the realm of psychology or psychiatry. So, and there's a lot of things to do with, if one does one, it's going to trigger another. So that's very much within the realm. So yeah, they don't care. Why do we feel bad for these people? I don't.
For kitchen, I need an air fryer more than likely.
I don't feel bad for these people at all.
If we want to go to the loose caboose, it'll have to be when I have a car.
Struggle with crushing it.
Everything is fine here, and Julia says hi. Oh yes. She's still chasing hasharats. Oh no, it's winter. The weather is an actual thing. Yeah, so nice and new. It is. Amazon wish list. Does the fridge?
She just doesn't really want the farms probably finding it, because she doesn't want like FFG just showing up on her doorstep, and I don't blame her. I wouldn't want that person showing up on my doorstep either.
They'll run on diesel. Hey, Squiddy, everything runs on diesel in Syria. Yeah, I want to buy a car with cash, Squeaky. Sasa, yes. How is Sasa? I know she does still.
I mean, if she could get away with it on YouTube, she could set up her target goal of like, 10 super chats over $10 a piece. And then, I'll, take you to a store, and then she could get all that money and still not take him to a store. And everybody would still be okay with it. And YouTube would still let her keep her platform. And I think we just all have to be accepting of that, because YouTube is basically run by AI now. So if AI hasn't figured out that Foodie is a problem, then she's staying around.
Say Mariam. I don't mind sharing my life with you guys, just if you guys just don't mess with me, I'll be okay. Dang Foodie, you living the bougie life, love your home, the colored marble top. I love Pete's, moves into the den for some villa fun. Thank you, Bossman Jaya. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Suppose I could show you the spare room, and you guys can see how small it is. Sushi. I want to go for sushi, but it's expensive.
See?
It's like 30.
Hold on.
It's like 30
bucks.
Should
I tell you?
Yeah, there's like a sushi.
I see she's the urgency. I really want to go to sushi. The emotional plea. She's pulling out all the manipulation tactics here. And guess what? Somebody wants to be a narcissist enough in this group to flash out some cash. Now, are they going to have everybody? No, but maybe it's for Foodie. Look at me. I'm so good. I can send you $40, Foodie. And if it's like anime, he probably threatened his mother and stole some credit cards. So you don't even know how these people are getting their money. Okay? So, I mean, don't feel upset about it. I know it's hard. It's hard to watch sometimes, especially if you work hard and you feel your struggles are real. And here's this person who's really an abhorrent individual, and she's got all these people rewarding her. I know it's a tough watch, but it's just what it is. And YouTube rewards these people. It's just the way it is. The worse you are, the more reward you will get.
It's like very close. And I ate there once. Then when I did my video, it was really good. But it's like $30. Ginger's. Julia's happy. Yeah, what is Julia up to right now? What did you have for supper? Did you have Farouj Mishwi? Farouj Mishwi? Never thought I would thank Tracy, but thanks for making her turn the camera, because now we can bees in peace. As long as it is peaceful beezing, I'll be all right. Can we get a time warp? Yeah, but of what? Everyone loves attention, Casey. You buy them the ingredients.
This is a 47-year-old woman who still talks about beezing. So does FFG. They both talk about beezing. The escape from reality is deeply needed from these people. And this is the way the world's going to go. It's going to get wild on YouTube with the release of all this AI. They had some terrible AI video. It's just slop. You can just, I'm like, oh God, I don't want to see this AI slop. Get it off and they're trying to just push literally. If YouTube could just make itself AI slop videos that are in TikTok style and just get rid of every other aspect of its platform that as actual humans it has to share a little tiny bit of ad revenue with, they would happily do that. They would just have their people create stuff on topics they think, and they keep it around some of the main creators or whatever. Maybe a few streaming channels. But like I said, they just deplatformed 20 million channels. They're trying to, there's some weird stuff going on. Promise you that. So, you know, maybe somebody like Foodie will survive like the cockroach she is.
They cook for you. That's what we would always do, eh? So I can think about it. It kind of feels imposy. They said, anything you want to eat, I will make for you, you know? And so we would usually buy the chicken rice. Yeah, I have a dishwasher. I don't use it. Can I sponsor for the sushi? Can you make it alive? Oh, Maggie, yeah, sure. Thank you.
See, Maggie wants to make it alive. Maggie just got recognized. Maggie got the little heart. Maggie's not upset that, you know, they're all happy that they get to see her pretty kitchen now. They're happy they don't have to see a wall with a light switch. So the fact that these guys are happy, they're going to send her more money than ever. Do you see a group of upset people here? No, I don't. I don't see these people upset. Maybe one person felt duped and finally felt that they had to peace out. The rest of these people, oh my gosh, they are on board completely. Now, Bella says, I couldn't live with the panic of being her age and having no skills, education, being that size, etc., etc. And it's really too late for her to ever catch up, given her limitations. She's not scared, Bella Wolf. Somebody in her family just signed off her lease, and nobody in her family is ever going to really, truly let her fall or fail. She can come back and mess up. And, you know, if I owed the Canadian government $30,000 or the British government $30,000 and anything of that nature, well, I still had family around, then I promise you, they would have said, good luck to you, girl. I feel like, you know, I definitely would have been one of these people. If I had done a heinous crime and had to show up in court, I would have been alone. I have a family that didn't even show up when you did something good, like a graduation. They didn't even congratulate you for that. I don't think my family, when they were alive, even sent me any type of congratulatory gift or card when I graduated with honors, when I got my Bachelor of Education. They didn't send me anything. In fact, I was told I needed to take my, when they were still alive, my aunt, because this was many years ago, my aunt out to lunch because she drove the car for me to go to a valedictorian thing. I was a valedictorian, by the way. And I was told I should be paying to take somebody else out to lunch. So I came from the opposite. I came from the true, like, boomer. We don't give you a single, you know, you better be getting a part-time job at the age of 7 to start figuring out a way to pay for college. And you better be out of the house by 18. And we don't want, and the only time we want to hear from you is at the holidays, and you better be staying in a hotel because we're not going to put you up in the house. That is the family, you know, that's what makes you tough. Now, if you don't get that type of tough, then you're going to end up being like Foodie. And you're just going to be, she's no reason. That's why she wants to be back at Salah. She's never going to do it. I wouldn't feel bad. She has Canadian healthcare and she has so much. See, we're nervous here in the States because we know what it's like to go without here. We know here in the US, if you don't have it, you're going to be in some deep trouble. I don't think she has the same concerns in Canada. I won't mention my college education. I was spoiled. Oh, well, don't. I didn't get anything. Oh, no, don't feel sorry. Don't feel sorry, Sarah. I know you know me better, Sarah, but don't feel sorry. I'm Gen X too, the golden child. Yeah. Oh, you were the golden child? Oh, I was Gen X, but I was from the Yeah, get outside and play. Don't come in for 2 days. I was from the family that told you off if you got food. So, maybe that's what kept me thin. My parents never congratulated me for anything. It was expected that I would do it. It was not like, oh, you did something really good. No, it was just expected that you would graduate. You would graduate with honors, no fanfares, no dinners out, nothing.
Okay, Salah, can you pin the PayPal? If you want to send me for PayPal, I will go tonight for sushi. We will go somewhere for sushi for dinner. Or, yes, yeah, you can. I'm the last person on earth who looked for attention, just came to say hi, and that's it. Yeah, because,
And none of these people care that a bunch of channels just got demonetized for going out and having people with obvious weight issues and probably an ED going out and eating sushi. I don't care. Yeah, she'll get away with it.
He beezed with us for 3 years, and he misses some Beezers, and some Beezers miss him. Give people to sponsor. The windowless dungeon.
You must have been a sweet girl.
You guys are so nice.
You must have been a very sweet child, I think, Bella. I don't think it was just not that. It's just my mother was the prime narcissist in my household. So had to be about my mom. If it wasn't about her, nobody was having a good day. Unfortunately, maybe that's why I look so much at narcissism and understand groupthink narcissism. Probably part of the reason why I have a deep interest in psychiatry. And if I had the family support and money, maybe I would have been a nurse practitioner doing it. Anyway, I still work really hard and get where I need to get. And hey, nobody can take anything away that I've done. It's been me. So, and I think that's where it gets tough, but I can still be pragmatic enough to understand that everything is different for different people. And it's not a reflection about who you are as a character. Like your family, being more generous, they just could do that, and for what, whatever reasons. And then just my family, they just weren't givers. Like my grandma never even gave me Christmas gifts. She did. It was something that she got for under $1 at the Dollar Tree. And I'm not even joking. Don't feel bad for me.
Don't buy stuff that will get her demonetized.
My grandmother grew up in the Depression. She didn't gift anybody anything. She was again somebody that if it was a gift, it had to go to my grandmother had a little bit of narcissism issues too. Maybe I'm sure I have my own inbuilt things going on from having had to manage and navigate my life with so many narcissistic women and not feel, not necessarily have those. Maybe I have a little bit of narcissism. I have a YouTube platform. Who's to say I'm not also that way? Who knows?
Yeah. I need to pay rent, honey.
Oh.
I want to go to the free.
Oh, I moved closer to my grandmother's house, Bella Wolf, to help take care of her. And I took my responsibilities also very seriously. But then once I realized that, nobody really cared. So sometimes you just, and then they all just passed away. So that made life easy. All right. But yeah, I don't want to get morbid. We're talking about Foodie here, not me. But I just want to say that, in the respect that when you have somebody who is, and I'm not saying that you're enabled, Ella Wolf, so please don't ever take this. I'm just saying that in the case of Foodie, who has obviously shown multiple times that her family help her out, and then she just goes and leaves and goes back to Syria without a care in the world about the name being on the lease, and then she comes back, and obviously it's a family member who's had to put their name on this lease. Foodie's not going to be able to do this. She has no source of income other than YouTube, and that probably would not necessarily, well, she's had her channel long enough, but she might have to have somebody co-sign just because she's been out of the country and not really having a rental history. So somebody has obviously had to help her just because of, she probably needs to have that just because of those types of issues. So yeah, I wish I'd had a nicer family. That would have been cool.
Museums tonight, maybe, but if not, I don't know. It's freezing.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh! Thank you for the money for the friggin' sushi.
You like Amberlynn? Yeah, she's probably going to be disappearing off of YouTube. I'm sure maybe she'll go over to Twitch. Maybe they'll be all over to Twitch soon if they're listening to Zachary Michael at all. Amberlynn is having a much more hard emotional time with this. Some of the other ones it shows your resilience. Like Rosie kind of showed her resilience, that she just kind of is trying to do everything that she can because she knows she needs to help her and her family. And she's, and she knows she doesn't like to have like a regular 9-to-5 job. And you know what? I can't blame a girl. Let's be honest. I know everyone in the boomer generation, even my generation, likes, we all put up with the 9-to-5. Yeah, we all got that trauma badge. Some people loved it, but I promise you, probably 85% hate it. And they have to spend the majority of their time with a bunch of people they can't stand. So, I mean, it's taken me years to actually get like a job that I don't mind going to. I promise you, I've had a lot where some of my colleagues and some of the organizations have been absolutely toxic as heck. So you can't sort of, blame her for wanting to find alternative ways to earn money. I think she also was without a car, so she's going to have to, because in the United States, if you don't have a car in certain areas, you cannot get to work. You are very restricted. Foodie is like, she's just living the life over here, man. I wouldn't feel bad for Chantel at all. She's having a better time than anybody else. I don't even think that cold Canadian winter could be that bad. Look how nice her apartment is. You should go right downstairs and get some sushi.
Gee. Oh my gosh. We can't lose all our girls. I'm the only girl standing, really?
Oh.
Museum bees? It's not going to warm up anytime soon. I know, but today is like exceptionally cold. The days that are like exceptional cold. But yes, I was looking at like apartments that were, cheaper, like in Ottawa, because Ottawa's expensive. So you have like 2-bedroom running anywhere from like, even in like a.
And see, if you enjoyed her content and she was, you should go over there, Ross, and you need to let her know to go set up a Twitch account, that she would probably get some people following her over there. Because I don't think that anybody really wants to see these people starving or having a tough time. I don't think anybody of us want to see that. We all want to think that they've gone away. And then there's a lot of reaction channels, but they'll pivot. So I'm not always so concerned with reaction channels. They'll pivot. They're smart. But obviously people who that is their content and they are their content, hopefully they can pivot for a few months and change maybe also the type of content that they're creating on YouTube and be able to put in for an appeal. Amberlynn at this moment should be, stoic through it and show a level of resiliency in order to, regain her channel. And I think that she's not got the capacity to handle it as well as Foodie does, or even Rosie. And I don't know about Hungry Fat Chick, what she's doing on her end. She's probably got her pies and other things, so she's probably not as stressed either.
Slummy place, they're like $2,000 at least or more, and nothing included usually. Even dumpy places are expensive. So why would I go like rent a place that has no AC or rent a place that has AC? You want a museum bees with me? Oh, and you have a car. You're still a loyal beezer. Thank you. So
I worked in a credit union, Patty, and it's long days. That's why people get so excited about the holidays. And you should. Luckily, at the time I worked at the credit union, I actually really liked my colleagues, and I worked in business development, so I could get out and go to different locations. Because I am somebody who having to go to somewhere regularly all the time, it does drive me a little bit bonkers after a while. So I am the variety is the spice of life, which is why nursing is a good career for somebody like me. Because maybe if I go to the same location, what I do activity wise is different every day. So that kind of keeps me engaged and interested. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think there's a lot of jobs that you could tell the person like is so bored at work. You feel bad for them.
For being a loyal beezer. That means a lot. It's a cute Villa 2.0. Yep. Trying to just keep it nice and cozy.
Yes.
And, it's not.
If she was hit by a lot of bots, that could be YouTube potentially putting in reports through AI bots and not actually people making those reports. YouTube has deplatformed. That means taken away, can't come back to the channel, not allowed to have. Some of these people had 16 accounts. I mean, some of these people are wild on these channels trying to make as much money as they can. I mean, they'll have 4 or 5 YouTube channels, some of these certain types of how-to channels and stuff, and, just a lot of people use YouTube as a source of income by having lots of different channels, but they deplatformed 20 million channels. They are on a massive cleanup. One, I think they're just trying to figure out they've got these AI bots and they just set out the algorithm and off they went. So YouTube isn't really controlling it as much with humans anymore. So we're seeing the effects of that because there was a lot of changes even since August with stuff going on. Yeah, YouTube has got some stuff happening. They're not going to tell us all about it, though.
Not big like the villa where I have to worry about vacuuming stairs. I had to vacuum 30 stairs at the villa.
They
don't have to vacuum at all. I have a Swiffer wood and broom and dustpan, and that's it. Chantal, you deserve the good life, so I hope you are aware about your health. Thank you. I'm trying. Yeah.
They could even steal these people images and they don't even know. It's the Wild West out here, guys. And now they got these AI bots in here. We don't even have stable internet on my stream sometimes. So now we got these AI bots. I mean, let it make sense.
For townhouses. What do you know about cheese graveyard if you're such a beezer? Cheese graveyard.
Yeah, they would take them a while.
I didn't have time to do a cheese graveyard because I was just arriving here just before Halloween. So it's nice to see Celeste still supporting you. He really cares about your health. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Lolo.
That's a long time of dedication. I know you got nicely rewarded for that, Patty. Congratulations. Because I don't think that, people will be talking about 45-year careers any longer. But I also think that people are not interested in having 45-year careers in the same industry like they used to be. I think that the approach to how people are going to work in the future is going to be very different. And I think a lot of it is, one, people know that the organizations that they're going to work for aren't necessarily going to be loyal if for whatever reason to them. And they're not really going to be able to so people are really looking for different things. Foodie doing YouTube is, she doesn't want if she's forced to get a regular job, I don't think she'd ever do it. She'd do some weird stuff on the internet. She'll get some fetish stuff going with some AI. Who knows?
It's apartment in the sky.
My opinion.
Now, elevators were one thing I was really worried about, but affordable housing. By the way, the villas? They had some villas like from the same company and everything available. They had a townhouse available, and it was 20. Oh man, when Pete and I moved into that villa, it was 17 something.
Who knows? One of these people in her community probably happily put their name on these leases. These people, they don't care. They don't care if they want out and she gets left. If they've got the money and the means and they want to do it, they'll do it. I know we can't make sense of it, people, because some of us wouldn't have that happen. Or some people would not use their platforms to do that because they ethically would not think that was something to do, because there's, it's just like, is this how we're going to have, since, we don't have people having, like proper jobs anymore, because AI is taking care of a lot of stuff that we're just going to have humans sitting online and, if they're entertaining enough, people with enough money are going to give them handouts. Who knows? It's going to be wild.
A month, 1,700. Now they're like 2,200. A month. I got to make a couple phone calls. Integrating life back into the mix, eh? So I'm a little nervous. I like sober better, of course. How much is your rent now? Like 22. Neighbors? I haven't really met any neighbors.
$2,200 Canadian. What is that in US? Hey Siri, what's 2,200 Canadian dollars in US dollars? Siri doesn't like me. Hey Patty, you're a banking person. How much is 2,200 Canadian in US? What's that? What, $2,000 a month? Something? That's a substantial amount of money. Substantial amount of money. I know she said the first 2 months were free, but after that, that's a substantial amount of money. And often you have to pay extra fees, don't you? For like, I don't know if it's the same in Canada, the States. Shoot, they start tacking on the garbage and the this, that, and the other. Go up another $100 or so. Pet fees. Your last job was taken over by AI. Yeah. A lot of them are, but they're even trying to get AI to take over this. But how can you be as entertaining as this and watching all these people, happily give money to Foodie Beauty? They don't care. Heck, I work 3 jobs to support and myself. It's crazy that people throw money at food just for, yeah, isn't it funny, for sealing on a couch? Isn't it funny? I mean, and yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that you had to work that hard. Nobody should be having to work that hard. We should have better support systems so that people can take care of their families, so that nobody has to feel that hard, that you get that much time taken away from you being able to be with your families. That's not how all families grew up in the past, I promise you. They would be barely doing nothing in the 1970s, and they'd roll home with a Corvette and a house with a swimming pool. Promise you. On a $500 a week salary. Canadians, thank you, $1,592 US. Thank you, Steady Tim. Thank you for figuring that out. Over $1,500. And think if she's got any taxes, fees, any extras for like sewage, I don't know. Sometimes I remember I got a garage for my car when I rented an apartment out in South Carolina when I was traveling. Those are days when it was a lot less expensive before the pandemic. Yeah, I would agree, Ross. It's impossible to stay with the same company for 40 years nowadays because of corporate auditors will come in and play. Oh, absolutely. Once you start to hit near retirement age, it just happened to a friend of mine at AT&T. He had been at AT&T forever. And he was an engineer, and he dealt with something specialty, and all of his friends were like, oh, they're never going to get rid of you. They're never going to get rid of you. And lo and behold, right when he was like early 50s, they ended up getting rid of him. And I think it put so much stress on my friend that he began to drink too much and he had a stroke. Sad to say. It's a friend of mine I went to college with in the UK, and he was working here in the US. And he managed to survive many a layoff. Like he seemed to be kind of Teflon, because I was surprised at how many times they had layoffs. He was up in DC and hadn't lost his job. And then finally it came. And it does, unfortunately. Yeah, banking has changed a lot over the years. Oh, and a lot will be probably taken over by AI, for sure. I mean, it's just, and it's just like, who's going to be paying for all this stuff? But obviously there's people who aren't worried because they're sending Foodie $40 for sushi, and it's Christmas time. But I can promise you, folks, sometimes these people really do not have the means to do this, okay? Which is the part that is sad. Kalari admitted to sending a lot of money to FFG, and I do not believe that Kalari had those funds to do that. Really. I mean, let's think, did she have if you're sending that much money, you should only do that if you've got you really do have means to do so. I think any creator who doesn't feel that their audience is able to give and is giving and it's hurting their pocket, then you don't want them to give necessarily, and so she would never care, because she's just going to care about herself, and she's just found a group of people that over the years. Because you have to think, what does she do? What is she, with her food? She's got no competency in self-care. It's very interesting. Like I said, I always find it fascinating. Okay, take it away, Foodie. I'll be here all day. I got to get a bunch of work done. It's already getting late.
But the building has a really nice area to lounge out and hang out. Sometimes I see people, but utilities included. No, and that's not it's expensive. But you guys, if you're researching Ottawa rent prices, you should see if you compare what you get for what you pay, it's worth it, because other places that have nothing either are similar prices and they're really run down. It is a lot, yeah. She has zoomies now. She's modest, respect for Salah. After she heard your voice, did she? Juice. Inshallah. What did I used to say to her? You ever stinky, Mom? Because you like to bite, Mom. There's no crack at it.
No, I was sorry. I didn't realize I had my mic muted. Oh, anyway, sorry about that. Let me mute my mic again. I was letting Foodie play. Sorry, I was just letting everyone know. I lost a bunch of people at that point. It was just my mic was muted, not the screen frozen. I was talking and the mic was muted. Oh, well. Hey, I'm professional. Keep going, Foodie.
I was trying to throw people off, making it sound like I live in like a ghetto area with like, well, it's not nice to say, but I grew up in the ghettos of Ottawa. Like I used to live on Kirsten Way in one of the worst buildings. Honestly, as long as you have a roof, I'm a good liar.
I was just saying that, Ross is probably, can you hear me? I hope I got myself muted. What I was trying to say was I felt bad that Ross has probably paid a lot of money in taxes over the years. And yet he had little to no support here in the US for any of this. And we know that's what happens. And we know for Chantel, she's got a lot more safety nets in Canada than we have, say, here in the US. So she, should she rather be sitting in Syria because she got people waiting on her hand and foot over there? And that's what Chantel wants. Chantel would rather be sitting in a poor third world country to be getting hand and foot treatment, waited on hand and foot, than have to be sitting in Canada in a luxury apartment where she has to walk down to get some sushi. Go make that sense.
I'm actually not really, but I was trying to throw people off, like little details, because like little details. You said your stove was crappy. I don't like this style of stove. Donald Street is known as, this lamp was my grandma's. But yeah, look at all the space I have. I'm proud to be a hood beezer. But I just don't like this style of where it's flat. Because like what, can they get damaged more easy? Like can I use these on it? I've been using these. Me too. And then I just have my couch and I have a drawer here.
Do you think all of her Beezers are living so nicely? And such nice brand new kitchens behind them with tile and is that, I don't know if that's Formica or thin marble. It looks, it doesn't look like it's like, it looks like a builder grade countertop. I don't think it's, is it granite? Maybe it's granite or a marble or something. Always informative. Oh, thank you. Ross said, that's funny how my state was stereotypically American. Only in America. Only in America. Ross, you're right. That you can lose your job and have to pay for your cancer treatment. And I think that's why it's tough for us to watch somebody like Foodie, because she thinks her struggle is real over here. She thinks she's struggling because because the drawer is where she's sitting.
I see one. I'm just joking. Yes. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, we're having sushi tonight on that person. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. Well, I guess mi casa, tu casa. Mi casa, tu casa. What's in here? Oh, my mom. She got me this housewarming card when I moved in. Too cutie. Welcome back. We miss you so much. Love, Mom, John, Nat, and Buster. What is?
See, does that sound like a mom who got upset with her for her? Oh, I'll make sure I'm off. Does that sound like a mom who got upset with her for having fled out to Syria? No, she's just glad to have her back. This is what, hey, no, Foodie needs to send Teardrop some of it all got money for a Teardrop, a stove. Oh, no, Teardrop would send her money. Teardrop doesn't need a stove. She don't care. She'll send her every last time. Teardrop will be out there panhandling for pennies outside of 7-Eleven. That's okay. As long as Foodie's getting $40 worth of sushi. As long as their queen is living her best life. They don't care.
This stuff. Oh, it's all the for the washer dryer. Do you guys want to see my washer dryer? Hold on a minute. Pretty cool, eh? Whose little teeth? We're in the bathroom. Portable bidet. Here's the toilet. Shower. Wait, let me check it.
Oh my gosh. I wish I could get my Nightbot polls going. How long until the toilet is broken? I don't want to be rude. Trying not to be rude. Sometimes I can be spicy too. Yeah, ill got money. Yeah, no, they don't care. She's still got to come out with a dirty hijab and dirty clothes, despite having a machine right behind her. She's like me, though. If she's busy all the time, then maybe she hasn't got time to do her laundry. I know I get real busy. So I got to do mine today, too. And I got to write a paper for school and try to get the dogs over to send pictures. So let's roll this up, guys. I'm going to finish this out. So I'm going to let Foodie play more and me talk less.
It could use a little wash, but it's not that bad. And then this, what I like about it, the fan is on right now and you can't even hear it, but this is like a, this door leads to my walk-in closet, which leads to the bedroom. Oh, yeah, I need a stand-up shower shelf because there's nowhere, you know. I can do like a house tour at some point, video maybe. Upgrade.
I wanted to thank you for that super chat, Sammy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ray. We hear you loud and clear. I'm so glad because I keep muting the mic because I don't want, if I'm doing something around the microphone and she's playing, I don't want to be disruptive. So yeah, I appreciate that though, because I'm sipping my coffee too, and nobody really wants to hear the ASMR slurps. So I appreciate that though. Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate it. This is not a luxury. It's just new. Yeah, it's a new unit. Yeah, I mean, comparatively to how some people may live in certain parts of the US, it could look pretty luxury. For anybody who lives in a city, it's a kind of standard new apartment with new appliances in it. You know, it's got, you know, it's easy to clean and stuff. So it's a nice newly built apartment building with some luxury features, because I believe there's a gym in it. I guess already having the washing machine and dryer, you know. Now, I don't know if it's the same in Canada. Here in the US, you often have to pay sometimes to have those things put into the apartment. You might pay your base rate, and then you have to keep, you know, adding these little things in. I remember I had an upstairs unit, and like I had to keep wearing the same scrubs all the time. And I just didn't have time to go to a laundromat. So I just paid for the machine to be up there. Because I'm just like, you know what, for my time, you know, I had to do a time money analysis, you know, because my time is a lot shorter than hers. That machine probably dry as bone in there. Yeah, she got the laundry room. She also said the laundry room had crackheads, so she couldn't do laundry. And she has a new washer and dryer in her apartment. Oh yeah, she's just, but I think they know she's telling stories. I think they know she's telling stories. I think they love the reveal. I think the reveal is what they love to get.
It's not like it's not a huge place, but the den, it is very new. Hotel, yeah. Hotel vibes. And there is a gym. So cozy, fancy for $2,200 a month. No swag daddy. Thank you, Cherry. Place is beautiful. Thank you. Everyone thanks Tracy for making a read comment. I forgot about Tracy, but like how, like, I always end up doing that. Like I have Butterfingers. Hey, Pumpy. It's cozy, yeah. Thanks, service. Yeah, Caribou. I might just use the treadmill for now. I'm mad. We're back. You honestly seem more relaxed now. We aren't stuck on one view of you ceiling. It is awful always worrying, like, I need a cozy fireplace. Sorry, I have the hiccups. I don't know. I could have put a piece of tape on the back camera. I know, but then like the cat was coming around. What if she moves the camera? Like, it's just, I don't know. I hope you take good care of it. Yeah, I will. Honestly, I've never let any places get bad like the villa was at one point when I went through that bad depression. Because if you look at
Chantel, if you were having such bad depression, just as a suggestion, maybe, you know, using substances and not as medically prescribed is not going to be the solution. Okay. If you really have that issue, maybe get your vitamin D levels checked, because I'm sure they're pretty low. And obviously, if you've been complaining about that, but, you know, I think when you have enough awareness of something and you have the financial means to then try to address it in therapy, and you don't, you know, and you haven't addressed it since, doesn't give good reason to believe you're not going to trash this next place when you get into a depression. Because you've been certainly depressed. Luckily, you don't have enough stuff in there. Maybe you don't have quite the same amount of money to buy all the stuff, but you're getting pretty close to getting all your Beezers to start sending you boxes for Christmas. So you're going to be getting a lot of money over Christmas, guys. Be prepared.
When I lived with BB, like the apartment was always like nice, you know. You think that's pretty good for what I have? No, I don't blame Tracy. I forgot that even Tracy, you know. But now I remember last night her saying, read my comments. So I was scrolling up. I went to scroll up and I did the reverse camera. And then when I came back, she's like, did you read my comment? I freaked out and got off. Blame Tracy. I felt bad you were living in a slum. Yeah, now you guys are gonna be like, well, you don't need any money. No, I need money now so I can afford to live here. No, I'm just joking. No, honestly, if you look at, there's nowhere I could get for like cheap. It's just not possible. And I did apply at some other cheaper places and actually didn't get the apartment. Someone else got it. So yeah, it's also a combination of just like getting accepted and, you know, some places are probably not as picky because of about credit and stuff because of the fact that.
Yeah, so who co-signed for this place again? Since her mother had to co-sign for the one just a month ago. How did she get this brand new build place? Yeah, she doesn't have great credit. Now, maybe Bella Wolf can tell us, I don't know, or even Bernard up in Canada, if you could put down enough of a cash deposit to forego any type of co-sign. Could she put down enough cash on like one of these places that's, you know, slightly more expensive and willing to maybe overlook certain things just to rent the place out if you sign certain, you know, longer contracts for leasing, that she's going to have to, you know, keep to the, I mean, Foodie would try to figure out a way to get out of the contract. I mean, if she could just flee the apartment suddenly and go to another foreign country and think she'd never come back to Canada and just leave that lease unattended to, oh, she would absolutely do it, in my opinion. She would not have two qualms about it. She doesn't even care who's co-signed that name, because whoever it is, she'll let them take it on the hook. She don't care. She doesn't care enough. And then people, for whatever reason, she has been able to be lucky enough in life to have people that surround her that are okay to take that type of treatment from her. And they have no problem. And they'll just do it again because they don't want to see her fall or fail in their mind or with their eyes. She's going to always, she's as far as like having to be a responsible, functioning individual in society as we kind of consider within our mind, she's never going to be that person, in my opinion. And the only thing that's going to take her down is her negligence to her health. And the one thing that she's not going to be able to get control over when it really starts to cascade down is her health. Because once those organs really start to fail, it doesn't matter what, as medical professionals, we try to do to resuscitate or rescue or manage these chronic diseases. At some point, the disease will win.
You know, they're expensive and like people can't afford to rent them these days. One room, yeah. I did look in Cornwall, but I didn't really want to live there, to be honest. What was Tracy's comment? Anyway, seems quite nice. Thank you. Can we please see Pete's closet? More going on in Cornwall. I don't think I'll show the other room right now, but yeah, thank you. Do we have a home list? Yes, we do. He's not even moving in like right now at all. So we're just, I'm just going to be alone right now. I need stability. Okay, I got to go because we have to get ready for sushi. No, he wouldn't need to go through the bedroom. The bathroom has an outside entrance. Like I'll show you. See, you can get into the bathroom this way also. And then here's the bedroom. And then his bedroom is off here onto the right that you can't really see. Yeah, the rent, that's what I'm saying. Anywhere I looked was expensive, even Cornwall, a place where I was renting with Pete's. When Pete's and I rented at this place on Brookdale, $650 we paid for two bedroom, all included.
Sorry, Nate, for you. What are your thoughts of her saying her last A1C was 10 in 2,000 milligram metformin and insulin? Her A1C was 10? That's terrible. Jesus. Let's put it this way. The metformin and the insulin certainly have no control over her diabetes whatsoever. She might as well come off that 2,000 milligrams of metformin because it's doing nothing for her. Absolutely nothing. The insulin, she probably does need to be on some sort of long acting at night. She'd probably be actually better off on a like a GLP-1, which she would hate because she wouldn't want to have the nausea for the food. But she probably needs to be on other types of she needs to probably like be on a GL1P inhibitor or something along with insulin. I think the metformin could go. I think she definitely needs a different management plan. If she remains at an A1C of 10, because you should be under 6. Okay. So if your A1C is 6 or above, then you're getting into the diabetic. 5.9 is the top of the pre-diabetic range. So if it's like 5.6 to 5.9 would be considered like hanging into pre-diabetic, and then anything after that you would have to have some other tests to fully confirm a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. But no, I do not think that the regimen that she is on is giving her control. No healthcare provider. Should have been followed up a long time ago. This has been out of control for years now. Her organs are being damaged because of this, no matter the medications, because she doesn't have control. So since she doesn't have control, she is still having the long-term effects of type 2 diabetes, which is probably why she's also got a lot less energy. It's doing her not wanting to go out and do stuff is not just, I mean, yes, it's a combination, but she is obviously probably does not have the energy to get out and do stuff the same way. You hear her heavy breathe. She does not feel great. It's hurting her a lot more. So yeah, that's pretty bad. That's bad. It's bad. I fast only eating 1 meal a day. Would that be bad for a diabetic? I would not suggest a diabetic eating only once a day. That's pretty bad because your blood sugars are going to be all over the place. I would suggest that generally for diabetics, it's probably more important to have smaller meals throughout the day. I'm not a fan of these fasting type diets. You fast when you sleep at night. That's long enough to fast. You want to maintain really steady blood sugars, and you're not going to do that. If you eat only once a day, you're going to spike your blood sugar and need to control that one spike of blood sugar. So for somebody who's a diabetic, I would never recommend a 1 meal a day. I would suggest eating smaller meals more frequently throughout the day to keep your blood sugars more consistent. That would be my recommendation. This is not medical advice, and this is not medical opinions. And though I was trained to be a nurse practitioner and trained to be a nurse educator, I do not treat or diagnose anybody. But those are my thoughts, just to clarify. All right, Foodie, keep going. I got to go take my dogs for Christmas pictures.
Now they want 1,800, 18 something, or 2,000 in Cornwall for at Brookdale. There's poo-poos in the kitchen. Well, right there, there's a bathroom. It's very expensive. So, I mean, I don't have a lot left after. I know I have to work on my content. Yeah, there's like in walking distance, there's a Walmart, a mall.
Sorry, I was laughing too hard there. Didn't work on our content. Hi, hey, come on in. Long time no see. Yeah, come on in, Foodie. I do, if you're out and up now in your lovely apartment in Canada. I need to be cleaning mine. Okay, I only got my dishes done and I got a lot to do today. So I got to wrap this up. I didn't live stream yesterday. So anyway, make sure you hit the likes when you come on in. Yeah, it's good to be here. Oh, your doctor had you fasting, but it's a very specific situation. Okay, recent diagnosis, doctor was positive. I could get it. Oh, okay. So as long as you're under a doctor's care, okay. Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm glad that you were doing it under a doctor's advice. I'm glad to hear that. That makes me feel much better. Because somebody just doing it on their own, I would not recommend. But if it was your doctor and a very specific thing, there and you're back and that now, and then I did first. Okay. Then I would have another conversation about what to do about the routine for your meals, and follow back up with your provider would be my recommendation then. Otherwise, for most people who are diabetic, I would not, recommend just going on to fasting like that, because you are going to change how your blood sugars are going. Yeah, fast gets more quick. Well, yeah, okay, keep saying. She lied the other day, said she was at the Birds of the Bus. Oh, she's just pathological. What can I say? Oh, she loves to lie. She just loves to lie, and they don't care. That's what I hope.
No, I didn't name the guy.
Oh, Foodie. That's why I hope that everybody gets from this live stream by the end of this session, that the Beezers are happy to give her money. As irritating as it is, they're going to keep doing it. As bad as her lies are, she's going to keep doing it. And even her mother, she has been able to surround her. She's somehow, Foodie is somehow able to attract these, these hyper mega gifting people. And these, she's just with a lot of enablers. How about, and when people say that, the haters are jealous, maybe people do feel, like, gosh, I wish I could dupe as many people as that, but nobody really wants to feel like they're duping. The thing is, are they really being duped? Because they know what's going on. They probably don't care about her little white lies or her big lies or any other lies. They don't care. I know, it's fascinating, isn't it? It's going to keep going. As long as she has a platform, they'll keep giving her money and she'll keep lying.
Yeah, but I'm close. There's a mall. There's a Chapters. There's a movie theater. Yeah, I've walked to the plaza a couple of times. There was a time, like a day where, remember where I went to Walmart on the scooter? I walked there. There's a Tim Hortons. There's a Pet Value. There's a Dollarama. Mall Chinese. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff around. You have some ideas? Alrighty. Yay. Make cute kitten videos. They get views.
I promise you. Oh, I promise you, her Beezers will rob their mother's credit cards or a family member's credit card if her queen need money. And we know that, because isn't that what anime did? These aren't necessarily savory people. They don't care. They probably steal credit cards from somebody's car. Who knows? In my opinion, allegedly only. They'll find funding. She'll get somebody else who'll come on, flood on through YouTube, find her channel amongst the millions of channels. I don't feel bad for these people. If anything, if you've probably got by the end of this, I don't feel bad for these people. I know that one lady got upset because I said they're all narcissists. They're all side characters in her chat. And they get, not that I don't highlight you folks too, but I think we're having like a discussion. This is kind of, I feel like, this is community. We're having a discussion. We're talking about these types of issues of what happens on social media and the fascination around these types of individuals. And so that's why I do it, at least. I'm watching these people. I'm like, oh my God. It's like with FFG's community, having the no problem with this person having lied to them about whether this cat was alive, didn't care after she told them. She told them she would have kept online. They were okay with that. She's come out a couple of times since, did one live stream only so far to raise money for the ASPCA, never mentioned to match the money. And she would be making, obviously, probably she has restricted AdSense. And she would have to then monitor her language to get it through YouTube censorship. And that's not what her folks want to hear. They want to hear her going hardcore. So she would have to have thought, I'm using my personal, because I don't think she'd get any therapy. She's too narcissistic. Narcissists hate therapy. So she would be thinking, oh, it's not worth my time. She's going to be making plenty of money in December. She's probably trying to figure out, she's probably smart, has money saved, has made a lot of money. And if she's invested it, she probably would never even have to worry about working ever again. Because they've estimated she's made at least $500,000 off of YouTube. $500,000. Some of us don't even make $500,000 potentially in our lifetime, as far as from work, not in investments or other things. But I'm just saying technically from work. And that's before she's invested money. So, yeah, They can get. She has done nothing since, but her community will doggedly support her and defend her and still send her money, even if she comes back tonight. It doesn't matter for these folks. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it is an interesting psychiatric phenomenon. And her community around them is also fascinating. I got told off because I told her, I made a sweeping generalization that they're probably all narcissists hanging out together. Well, who else? They're extremely dull. They have no real education, no really anything of interest to say. One screams and cusses about this one, and this one talks about what she's going to do as she sits in a kitchen all day or something. And narcissists tend to be really boring. So it's just fascinating. And then, and so, yeah, I can. That's why this is my platform. These are my opinions. And I hope they hear it. They won't care.
Get those steps in. Can we do Walmart scooter? The Walmart scooter died on me in like 10 minutes. Walk every day. Content time. Let's go to the plaza. Put a GoPro on Penny. Should we call her Pennywise? I feel bad, but she's not normal, guys. She's not a normal cat.
Oh, yeah, she is absolutely crowdfunding. But the thing is, it's not even, it's because what we talked about is that like individuals who have a mindset of what's known as hypermegagifting. You're going to have to go back and catch the front of the replay because I spent an hour going over the psychology of why Beezers give, and it could be Foodie Beauty or FFG. I think both of them are interchangeable at this point. And then you can look at then the manipulation tactics that both of these individuals use to scam. And how they have just managed to find, because a lot of the people that probably went to FFG might have been old Beezers from Foodie. So you got to think about the type of, mindset and it, and then they culminate in a group, when people didn't feel like, oh, this isn't really where I want to be. There's a reason why you don't feel that you should be part of that group of individuals or that community, watching that creator when you go in and look at the chat or whatever's happening. And you think, oh, I feel uncomfortable here. Because you're not relating. And so when somebody was saying they were upset because they watched this person, I got upset because I called them out. That person got upset because I hit a nerve. That's why that person, Wheelie Mom, got upset earlier. It's because I hit a nerve. Because I called her out. They don't like to be called out either. And I'm doing a very good call out today, despite only having 38 people watching. But give me a like so people can find me again.
She's very strange. I walked into the bathroom and she was just chilling inside the toilet like this, like sitting. Like, okay, you know how the bowl is like this? She was like this, sitting like this with her head above the seat looking at me. Not drinking from it. She has water. I'm always worried about her not having enough water, so I make sure she has things of water around.
I think these people are... they're not the best. They're not pulling the biggest manipulation scams, like when you get some real good ones like Bernie Madoff, obviously. They're pretty off. I mean, FFG got $500,000. That to me is a pretty good scam. As much as some charities that take care of hundreds of animals probably don't raise that much in donations. And this was for a deceased cat. Because it wasn't about raising money for BBJ at the end of the day. That's what the whole salient point of it is. It's about a group of really toxic people wanting to just say some really toxic things and finding a community where they could do stuff like that.
Inside the toilet. Yep, inside the toilets. I'm not normal either. And the way she walks, like she's running around and then her eyes are this way. She's weird. I love her so much. Yeah, so now the toilet seat stays down. You doxing yourself? Whatever at this point. Oh yeah, that's the fridge.
Oh.
Reading chat has become your content.
Well, YouTube is run by AI bots, and I didn't pay them off this month. No, I've just been doing other stuff than Foodie, so that's probably why I haven't showed up. And I'm glad I showed up in your stream today, so they've recirculated me back out and also I haven't been pumping out enough content because I'm in grad school. So all the people who think I'm having mental health breaks, yeah, if you want to say writing grad school papers for training as a nurse educator is having a mental health break. Sure, why not?
I know. I like hanging out. I'm not rich. You're in a building.
Oh, you're not rich.
I make sure not to have my.
Well, we don't think you're like trust fund baby rich, Chantel. But you always then will turn around and say, I've got the money. If you need to, girl, I've never seen anybody could find, $2,000 to fly out. You always have money on hand. Everyone know that, girl. You're not that, That's what Foodie doesn't like to give her money to anything except her indulgences. Then she'll give all the money. So these people are individuals who are happy to pay for her substance use, and whether it food or it be cannabis.
My name on the have a where that anyone can contact me, but still, I just want us to hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, she really does.
I don't want any trouble now. At least I engage with my viewers. Yeah, I love you guys. Takes me back to the villa days with the kitchen counter. It does seem like the villa kitchen counter. We just need a hairy bush. Anywhere with a trampoline.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I can do cooking streams.
Well,
international Tinder.
Well, Richie, I appreciate that. And thank you for finding me. Yeah, I mean, thank you. If you haven't seen the beginning about Hypermegagifting, which is just extreme, I'm sure it happens on TikTok too. It's just a pop psychology term. But I think it really explains. And there's, it's fascinating because we all know folks are scammers. But, we all talk about, the scammers. But when people fall for scams multiple times over, isn't the psychiatry of it's usually a mass group thing too, because it's a group of people. It doesn't work it depends. It depends on one person can fall for a scam too. But I mean, a really good scam like these people pull, they got lots of people coming in on it. I mean, FFG made $500,000. She's got no problem not showing up to do lives at the moment, even though there's all sorts of stuff going on with Foodie. And her community would accept her back. But she knows every bit of money they're going to be giving is going in super chats and stuff is to be donated. I think they can even choose, though. So I think she even has it set up that they could choose to do the donation to the ASPCA, or she still could get regular super chats. So she still could make money. But I don't know. So it's interesting that she's not out doing it. But, is it any giving on those, It's just interesting. I just like to know why she's, lit out. Because she could still get her super chats. She's not going to be losing any money. They don't all have to give to the animals, to absolve her of any, shame from having, talked about a dead cat for 2 years. Pretty good scam, though. $500,000? Jeez. I mean, if I was the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and I knew I had somebody who was one of my citizens, went onto a platform and said this animal was alive and it wasn't, and was talking about medical treatments and stuff that they were not really getting, and continuing it, and even admitting openly, which people have sniped that, so it's still on the internet, openly, that had her brother not mentioned anything, she never would have said whether that cat had died, even though everyone was like, how is this cat 40 years old now? She never would have said a word. She never would have said a word. I mean, getting $500,000 seems, I mean, where does the lie turn into the scam? And where is the forgiveness point? I mean, is everybody who has major depressive disorder to be forgiven for their behaviors that they make when they're not medicating themselves? If you have the knowledge to know you need to be getting treatment, or you need to be medicated, or you need to be in therapy, and you're not doing it, and you're out literally, I think, in my mind, committing a crime, then there's no excuse. You don't have a pass because you decided not to take care of your mental health. And this is coming from somebody who studied psychiatry. I do not think that people who willingly don't try to take care of their mental health, knowing they need to, is flagrant disregard for others and yourself. And it's, it's not a reason then to have your crimes absolved. If you decided not to treat it, then you should not be treated with special circumstances. As if you're doing something like almost $500,000 in donations for a cat. Now, if everyone wants to say it was just a spite thing, that's fine. But I think from a legal perspective, to think that what the person was saying in order to obtain that money is, I think, highly illegal. But nothing will get done. Thank you, Richie. Well, that's something we talked about as being one of the personality traits potentially for somebody who has hypermegagifting, is that they are people who are potentially lonely. So that's always part of it, that they could be lonely. So yeah, there's a lot of things behind it. And obviously YouTube as a platform has an ability for people to do it. And if the creator's really doing good work and you really want to thank them for their time and their effort, because creators make nothing on the AdSense. So when creators are out streaming and stuff, AdSense, unless you have a really big platform, you really don't make any money. So obviously when people gift you, it does make a difference on a small channel. But that's because you feel like you really have tried to come in and give value to your content. You have some expertise to talk about subject matters. Foodie, what she does is, we know that's a little bit different, her content. All right.
Tinder world, no. Never. You never seen me cook? Take bites of lakma for super chats. Well, Ray, I don't know if I'm allowed to host to somebody who's band-evading. Lakmas are like little puffs it's a dessert. They're like little puffs, almost like donuts, and they're full of sauce. You don't want to eat for money right now? I'm just eating because I'm human being. It's so windy outside. I know.
She knows she's playing with fire with you too with that. But, if the AI bot, like I've said this, that the AI bots might be only set up to remove accounts with eating, excessive eating, or reference to EDs, or whatever keywords were put into the AI algorithm before the bots were let out, and to demonetize these platforms, because there was no human that went in and said, "Oh, I'm demonetizing Foodie," or ALR, or I'm demonetizing Quirky. Or I'm demonetizing, because I think Hungry Fat Chick got demonetized. I'm demonetizing Hungry Fat Chick. No, they obviously set up the AI in an algorithm and said, okay, look for these keywords in their channels. And, if Hungry Fat Chick has in her description box that she used to be a fetish model, word fetish, or, they could have all sorts of words that they've decided they're going to be thrown into their thing, okay? And then, thumbnail types. I mean, you can put visuals. I mean, these things are wild. So whatever. They set this up. And, maybe the only thing that they had for geography was the United States, which ties into where the lawsuits are. This has always been my theory as to why her channel has seemingly escaped where others have not, because they wouldn't worry about a Canadian until Canada has its lawsuits.
I don't want to, pizza Lunchables. I used to like them. You can feel the gusts shaking the Kia. You have a Kia. I'm so jealous. Where did Salah disappear to? DoorDash Lakmas. Name the cat Olaf. Yeah. Hyundai are affordable. I'll see what's available when I have some extra money. Place is so pretty. Thank you.
And have the same vulnerabilities too in their psyches. They're really vulnerable people who get these parasocial relationships with somebody like Foodie. Maybe they feel that they have the same struggles that Foodie has, and then they get her, more attention from her after she sent the money, that Foodie's going to make sure that she likes her most. Now, obviously, YouTube encourages its creators that one of the things that, if somebody joins as a community, you'll make sure that when they make a comment on a video, that, especially for large creators, that you'll make sure you make a comment to that, because that's like a perk of membership, So YouTube actually kind of encourages this parasocial relationship with the super chats, with the super things. So it's interesting to see. And obviously the creators enjoy it, because YouTube isn't going to give them more money. So, unless you're getting the millions of views and stuff, like some of these bigger channels, if you're a streamer, I mean, there's a whole thing behind. I mean, we could go here all day, and I can't, unfortunately. I got a bunch of stuff to do.
Thank you very much.
It's a
I mean,
whole
you filming in the kitchen.
That's why I don't feel bad for these.
I know. The crooked outlet. I know, right? And that would be so easy to fix. Like I could fix it even. You just unscrew it, move it, shway.
So I wonder, does Europe have anything that's coming down the pipeline? Because I know Australia has, about having younger people have access to TikTok. And I know here in the United States, there's that huge lawsuit that's coming around with primarily, I think, focusing on Ahenia Cooney, who's been off this platform for a little time. So I'm just wondering which one, all the e-begging and the sob stories. Like, oh, yeah. A lot of viewers will befriend these people. Oh, absolutely. And give money. At first, it seems like charity, but it eventually morphs into a scam. But then is it really a scam? Because these people are knowingly. But the thing is, she's got these emotionally vulnerable people. But some, someone might just be narcissists who like their names being shouted out. So that's why someone got upset with me this morning, because I said that Frenchified Girls group seemed like a really heavy group of narcissists who like to call people out. Because, they have no morals. I mean, you can't say that Foodie's a scammer and then say that FFG isn't, when she obviously is totally a scammer. I mean, I always said she could have said the cat died when the cat died, and her audience still would have sent her money. So technically, she didn't need to be a scammer, but she kind of scammed the cat out of Foodie too. So, and she really played in it, and inserted herself and has become a side character and showed up to a bunch of places. So she's beyond a reactor. Reactors, you stay home. You don't want. I've had creators come and try to threaten to come to my hometown that I've made reactions to. And I'm like, do not even do that. I will be putting a restraining order on you. I draw a line. All right, we're about to finish this out, Foodie. I gotta go get the Christmas puppies.
I don't use it. Actually, I wash my dishes because I never have, like, it's not like I, use it. I cook for a lot of people. No, I was lying to you guys about the counter dishwasher. Shway. Shway means a little, use the dishwasher. Hey, Lexi, it's so cold today, squeaky. Like, I don't want to, like, why would I want to go there, man? Like, no. Swing bada. Amazon wishlist or PO box.
Well, YouTube is deplatformed in the last couple of months. It's been since October. 20 million channels. 20 million. Think about that. I mean, think about 20 million channels, and it's still filled with channels. That's maybe why I've been found today by people who've never seen me before, because they deplatformed 20 million channels. And that's not, we're not talking about just demonetizing. We're talking about just off the platform completely. And they are struggling, some real creators, big channels too, 100,000 subs, ones that would be AdSense rewarded. And I think YouTube has become so AI driven. It is impossible to get a human. I had to deal with an issue I had with a creator was just, striking me. Anyway, I had my attorneys reach out to YouTube, and there's just nobody. They don't even reach out. They don't even talk to like your attorneys. You can't even spend money to get these people to respond anymore. It is very much how society is going to move to the future. And I think is uncomfortable, as frustrating as it is, and how sort of potluck, because Foodie recently had a video that was struck down by YouTube's AI bots, and she put in for an appeal and was able to have her video replaced put back on. So she won her appeal, basically. I don't think that happens for everyone, obviously. So it's amazing what might have been the factors that got it's the AI, because it's not no human is going through this stuff anymore. The only time you get, I don't even know if the community managers that they say are humans anymore. To be honest,
I don't know, Bossman. We'll see. I don't know about how many words I know. I know quite a bit West Coast for words, but student powder documentary. I don't think so. Going up for sushi now. Do you get a dopamine hit from your lies? What? No, I lie like I say,
oh, it's massive cost cutting, but it's also when you have I mean, there's certain things that, yeah, but then from the creator's point of view, it's difficult then if you have a legitimate case or you need to highlight them about somebody being problematic on a platform or something, you can't address it. So as much as, and then they're potentially having a lot of misinformation and stuff. So these things are not necessarily great when they've morphed to being so large, but being completely, seemingly no longer being run by humans as far as like on its like, monitoring of its platform. I mean, the clean sweep of some channels is good, but for people then who legitimately had channels and are trying to restore them and are having an impossible time because the AI, for whatever reason, and you can't get it, there's no appeal. It's then becomes like you're just SOL. And how, can you imagine if you're making a lot? I mean, it's just some people's lives are getting taken out and their incomes. Not so the girls haven't done problematic stuff. That's a whole different story.
Little things like, oh, I got a dishwasher for the counter, like those lies pause because I have like throw people off like of where I live and stuff. That's why. Yeah, my finger slipped. Yeah. Okay, guys. So, thank you. I'm so excited. So we will go out later for eating.
And I talked about that too the other day about them weighing up cost risks analysis and how the cost of a lawsuit around anything that talks about EDs or fetish around EDs or any of these types of topics, which can, people can easily create thousands of words that they can put into an algorithm and send out an AI bot and say, take down any channel or demonetize any channel in the United States that has these types of thumbnail images and these words in their titles, description boxes, whatever, from time immemorial. And off they can go within seconds. So that's kind of, it's just kind of what's happening now, unfortunately. And it's just and it's just, and they've kind of thought to themselves, okay, well, we can avoid the lawsuit, which could cost us X amount of dollars and our reputations, whatever. And, having bigger brands or things that YouTube is trying to attract more. Because if you look now at the ads that are run on YouTube, they have gone from having been in the past like Ty Lopez and, welcome to my, garage and, come get knowledge and whatever we all remember from back in the day, to having like legitimate companies advertising with them now, little ads for Liberty Mutual or whatever. So they then have to change how content is presented because they are now getting like in the way of like any type of terrestrial channel like an NBC or a CBS and having to follow more guidelines around content monitoring to make sure it's suitable for their brands to advertise on, because no brand necessarily, for Pringles wants to be attached to Foodie, not necessarily. Like, yeah, no, I mean, we know what our products do to people, but we really don't want to be attached to the morbidly obese girl sitting in the kitchen not moving all day. Thank you very much, says Pringles, or whatever massive conglomerate that owns them. I think it's it's the same company that owns some other brand that got in trouble recently. I don't know. They're always in trouble. Oh, it's okay. Thanks, Foodie. All right. So yeah, that was the end of Foodie. All right, guys, I got to wrap this up. It's like afternoon. I've been in this live streaming for way too long now. And my dogs need to, I need to get going. But it's been a pleasure to be back. The ED controversy focus on women. Well, oh no, I mean, he's spoken about too. I promise you. I think it's just, he's not part of girl world and he's isn't he gone now? Didn't he kind of do something? He kind of, I guess, knew the writing was on the wall and decided to get his health back into control. I think he made a reappearance, but then he knew, he was smart. He saved up his money. I think he does some other occasional show ups or something. Oh, he's a problematic character too. I'm glad he's kind of gone. I'm just kind of glad he's gone. Oh, I talk about Sarasota Tim, who's extremely problematic in the retirement world. So I promise you, it's equal opportunity over here at Life and Vibe. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you found us. And just make sure before you leave me, just give me a like. That's a great way to give me some help. If you haven't had a chance to go and see the start of the live, I really appreciate it. Appreciate Patty who joined today. I also appreciate Patty for giving us a little super thanks for the pops. And I'm trying to see if it's Christmas photo day and we really need to get going. And to Sammy, thank you, Sammy, so much for being here and moderating this morning. Since I really didn't announce I was going to come out here. But yeah, all right, guys, let me go. I'm taking too much of your time. And I really do appreciate it and having such a fascinating conversation today. I know I triggered some people, but that's okay. If I don't trigger somebody, then I haven't brought up topics of interest and I haven't brought up topics that are somewhat controversial. And so I understand that having somebody call somebody a group of narcissists in a community who follows another narcissist, it doesn't seem to me to be a full stretch. I think I triggered the narcissists today. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Well, I'm so glad that you enjoyed the stream. You enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know. Say hi to my friends in the Netherlands for me. It's nice to be back. We'll be doing a little bit more. I'm going to try to rebuild back. I'm going to probably do some glitters and lasers. The girl world seems to be shattering, but there's still some interesting things to talk about. It was nice to meet you, Richie. So glad you found us. I'm glad you found the conversation interesting. I'd love it. And if anybody ever does really enjoy it and wants to not give any money to Google, because they always take money, and you want to help me with my rescue pit bulls, Roscoe and Junebug, especially Roscoe, because he's got some trauma that happened to the right side of his body. I know. Here's my sad bag. You know, I learned from the girls, man. But if you really do, we do appreciate it. It's just a way to say thank you for the stream. That's all. Yeah, I don't expect it, and I promise you, just you guys showing up. I treat everybody pretty equally, even those who give. Everyone knows I'm a pretty equal opportunity streamer now. I know for some it's a way to get, they get so much in the chat. It's the way to really, keep some people, especially when they have like certain missions that they're doing. And I certainly in my mission want to just call out the general BSery that happens on the internet and from the perspective of somebody who works in the healthcare field. So yeah. All right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. This is the Vibe Miss Time. I'm going to see hopefully tomorrow night if I can get time to stream. I am working Monday through Thursday, and obviously I got a lot of papers to finish for grad school. So I'm going to be busy, but I'm going to try to see what I can squeeze in. I'll have to make them a lot shorter though, maybe only an hour. But I'm a chatter. What can I say? All right, guys, take care. Love you all. Bye.